let's blast off. We got a lot of Oilers in the chat. Do we still have the hype train going? Gifted subs are 35% off for the nation of Qatar, for the beautiful, wonderful nation, Gulf nation of Qatar. Just letting you know. If Qatar is in here, pull up my goats. All right. Anybody Twitch app crashing? Nope. Okay, let's blast off. All right. Karen Bass just increased the police size and budget. Not on iOS. Okay. Where was I? What was I gonna say? Okay. ICE raids in LA continue. Trump threatens Elon over crash out. Kilmar Abrego back in US over wild charges. Later, it's girly pop nation time with Elon's. Oh yeah, JD Vance with Gaza. That's what we're gonna do as well. JD Vance asked about Gaza on Theo Vaughn. Elon's estranged daughter. Her name. Stop calling her Elon's daughter. Guys, this is something that I know. I understand that. I even brought it up to her last time we had this conversation. But like, you have to understand something. Like, it's not for you guys. You're in here already. There is a, like, there needs to be a like, I'm using this as a way to describe it to random people, because if I say Vivian, no one knows. Okay, like, there's not, you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying here? It's like a way to introduce her. I know. God damn it, why the fuck does this keep happening? Shark Enthusiast, thank you for the 100 get the subs. Holy crap, what is going on? What the hell? 100. Yeah. Cutie Cinderella. Or we do Deco Den. Okay. www.twitch.tv. Do we have a blast off meme for this or no? Cutie Cinderella and Caroline Kwan will be there as well. Gift subs are 35% off. Sakura Gore, thank you for the 10 gifted. Oven Hunt TV, thank you for the 10 gifted. Yeah. Speaking of Helly, you watching the finals tomorrow? Yes. Is Viv coming to Deco Den? Yeah. Chat Vice with Vivian would be so good. She's 20. What kind of advice is she supposed to give people that are even older than her half the time? Your interviews with Chris Hedges and Dr. Sidwa were incredible, brother. Please upload to YouTube. Your YouTube? I have uploaded both of those interviews to YouTube. My YouTube. You have not seen them on my YouTube, but I have. All right. Do we have a blast off meme or not? You didn't upload the JCP interview and protest? JCP interview and protest. What? Co-star, thank you for the 10 gifted. MK Lambert, thank you for the 25 gifted. Twitch app is crashing. I can't see your beautiful face. Her advice can't be worse than every man can be a 7, or it's like a muscle Hassan also. What? Okay, dude. Well, here's the thing. I actually have really good advice. And just because I've like bludgeoned you in the head with really good advice and you've internalized it at this point, so it sounds like a cliche or sounds stupid, doesn't change the reality that it's really solid advice, really sound advice that, as a matter of fact, every man should hear. A big chunk of the problem for young boys right now is that they're rudderless, that they don't actually have good male role models. People like myself would be able to fill that void if it wasn't for so many fucking weirdos in the chat who are constantly using every opportunity to dookie it, you know? You're not banned for accidentally posting a link. You probably got timed out for a little bit, okay? God, how did this happen? I was in such a good mood when I started, and instantly, I insta-locked bad mood. Chatters, download Dank Chat off of the Play Store. You can chat and watch the stream because Twitch app sucks ass. I don't know why my alerts keep breaking. It's so annoying. Moo Dengist, thank you for the 5 gifted. Once again, gift subs are 35% off. You sound sick? Are you okay? I'm not. I'm not. I mean, I am okay, and I'm not sick. At least as far as I know, I'm not sick. I don't know how you even pick out the ridiculous chat with how fast this moves. I read everything. I try to read as much as I possibly can in the chat because I want to have a constant free flow communication, constant back and forth. You know what I mean? This is a dynamic environment. Things are happening all the time. Said Thoe Vaughn. Oh God, lame. I can't believe I did that. You look sick as fuck. Like cool sick. I'm called Hasanabi as a slur on online video games now. I know the gaming sphere is so incredibly bad with its politics. Like a lot of gamers are out and about with like how horrible their worldview is. It's very, very sad. And most people don't actually have any sort of decipherable, discernible, tangible politics, but instead they just see it as like oh, you don't like Hasanabi, you're good. That's the only politics I care about. It's a catch-all for leftist, woke, socialist, social justice oriented politics and political opinions. All gamers should be forced to play Disco Elysium. I don't think there's a piece of media that will actually cause gamers to become smarter on politics. I'll be honest with you. Like, I've lost faith in that a long time ago. Twitter broke gamers' brains. Honestly, I hear a lot of Twitter talking points in game chats. Yeah. Twitter's impact. Scientists in the future, if there is a future at all, will study Twitter's impact on political discourse and how hard it bricked the brains of an entire generation and how quickly it basically brought back Gamergate to the forefront. I will simply say this. There's not a single person. I mean, there's no reason to relitigate this over and over again, but there's not a single person out there that actually despises everything I stand for that has consumed my content directly. They have consumed my content either indirectly with 17-second increments of clips, or they used to consume my content and they had a severe out of anger when I said something that they disagreed with, that they internalized heavily, and they could not deal with that back and forth. And then that caused them tremendous resentment. What was once tremendous love and admiration turned into tremendous resentment and anger, and now they are super enemies. I also do think about this quite a bit from the perspective of, I try to convince my kid to watch it, but he says you're too old and bad at basketball. I said to him, wait, is that why you don't listen to me? He said, yes, thanks, Hasana. That's funny. I will also say this. Okay.
Am I dumb for thinking this is
the sphere that we're in, I know several people who stopped watching you because of your take on raised cookies. Raised cookies? You mean Pokemon? See, this is what I mean. People are playing a game of telephone. My take on Pokies cookies were, of course they're expensive. Every single fucking content creator is doing a content creator tax. Your hyper focus on Pokemon's cookies is not because you I don't know. It has nothing to do with like anything serious. It's merch tax. People do it. I'm one of the few people that doesn't do it, ironically enough, and everybody fucking yelled at me for it. Bro thinks Pokey is Kirkland. Yeah. Oh, the other thing I was gonna say is I think when content creators are incredibly accessible, Twitch streamers are incredibly accessible, and as Twitch streamers are incredibly accessible, there is a lot of people that look at people like ourselves and go, well, this dude is like me but rich. Why the fuck does he get to do this and I don't? You know what I mean? As opposed to like the status that they place like real celebrities at, celebrities with like actual talent, for example, you know, musicians and the like. And when you're at the tippy top of this industry, especially for an extended period of time, you're just gonna have a shitload of haters. Everyone's time comes inevitably. No one has actually stayed above. No one, like, there are very few content creators on the YouTube side or on the Twitch side especially that have basically maintained like a level of prominence and a level of steady love without any sort of haters whatsoever. I mean, people hate Ludwig, dude. Think about that. This man is a fucking golden retriever. He is mathematically crafting takes that are the most kind, empathetic, and inoffensive you can possibly be, right? And there are still people who fucking despise this man. Think about that. Think about how crazy that is. Some examples I will give you of people who have don't have like a lot of haters would be Markiplier on the YouTube side, Germa on the Twitch side, Northern Lion is another one, and maybe like Lyric, right? Like those are the some of the few people that don't have like a lot of ridiculous haters. Queso, I think, is another great example of someone who really blew up and doesn't have any haters either, and it's fantastic. I'm glad. He doesn't deserve it. Like none of these people deserve haters. Okay, I don't think Ludwig deserves haters either, but he still gets them. Now, the example I'm going to use is this: Duke Dennis. Okay, Duke Dennis has, you know, he's just like a lifestyle content creator, right? And he blew up with Aura. Everybody was like W Aura, W Aura, W Aura. And yeah, he's a cool guy, right? But eventually there comes a point where like people develop resentment towards that, right? People develop resentment towards that because then they're like, well, why the fuck does this guy have Aura? Like, I don't agree with this, right? And then once people reach a certain point, once they reach like maximum impact, then people start going, okay, well, we claimed you had Aura, now we don't think you have Aura. Now then like a bunch of bunch of contrarians come out of the fucking woodwork, and I've been seeing like after years and years of Duke Dennis stocks exploding. I saw TikToks of people calling him Unk on the basketball court. I mean, he had fucking 11 points in like 5 minutes. He was playing really well. You know what I mean? But people were saying he was flabby and then he was Unk because he was because they just didn't think he looked hot enough or some shit, which is crazy. There are fucking Twitter posts about him comparing him to Hey Arnold, like saying he's not hot anymore. Like there's like he's still the same dude. He's still attractive, but now people have decided like, okay, your time in the spotlight as like the number one Aura guy is going away. This doesn't mean that there aren't still people that are, you know, big time fans and he will still be the Aura guy, but there will be a lot of haters for anybody is my point. No matter how poppin' you are, no matter how good you try to be, there's always going to be people that fucking hate you. It is what it is. There's not really anything you can do about this. Who is this DILF I don't know about? Hear about his drama about father and kids? Yeah, I don't really know. You're just saying this because you want max hottie status? No, I'm saying this because like from up until like the COVID era and maybe even into like the COVID era a little bit, I was the guy that people on Twitch would be like, that guy is the hot guy. He's the hot guy. And then what happened? Like no one says that anymore. Everybody fucking people realize like, okay, he's not the hot guy. We fucking hate him actually. We fucking hate him. He's old and he sucks and we hate his politics and we actually hate that he's hot. You know? It is what it is. It's just it comes and goes in waves. And I guess like what you gotta think about is you can't, you know, you can't keep up that momentum forever and you shouldn't let it hurt your feelings. Anyway, let's see what this is. Loving checks Asmongold's chat during the Summer Game Fest.
Am I dumb for thinking this is not one of the most anticipated games of the year?
Coming later this year. From Embark Studios, here's the world premiere of the release date trailer for Arc
That's some bullshit. Is it? This is it? This is one of the most anticipated?
It is, yeah.
What happened to Marathon?
Will was saying this is like Will thinks this is the best game of the year.
Ochi Chiari.
Breathe.
Or maybe it's Oki Chiari.
Let your body settle into a slower rhythm. You are in control.
Whoa.
Dude. Wait, hold up. Black female protagonists. Let's check Asmon's chat real quick.
DEI, here we go.
DEI. DEI trailer.
One of the funniest things I saw was him being like, Miskip did the same thing. I do it as well. One of my favorite things that I saw in that process was dudes who were like, I kind of like this game, but I don't know if this is DEI or not.
Oh, it's a DEI game.
Like I've been doing this, right? But it is remarkable where there are people who are like, there are people who are basically like, I don't know if I can like this game because like maybe it's DEI. It's like, bro, just fucking play the goddamn game. Like what a pathetic way to exist, you know? Are you okay? Like what the hell's wrong with you? Like are you that? Listen, as human beings, okay? As human beings, one of the greatest parts of the human existence is like being able to consume art on your own, okay? And be entertained by it. You sit down, you watch a TV show, right? Maybe you go to a museum and look at a painting or something. Wait, what? Is Hassan the final boss? What the hell does that even mean? You sit at a table with your friends, you eat some food, right? You enjoy yourself. And it's odd to me that these guys basically became a significantly worse version of the SJWs that they used to yell about. Like back at the peak of the SJW shit, I was always one of these guys that was like, I don't fucking care what kind of art you consume, okay? I don't think that your cultural consumption and your content consumption or who you follow says anything about you, okay? There could be a million different reasons why people watch certain things or derive satisfaction and enjoyment out of certain things. And I used to get really annoyed when the left would do such things, right? That was a big part of how I built this community around like being able to have fun while also simultaneously not being a douchebag, right? Baba, onu bana verir misin ver? Okay, peki. Okay. Tamam baba, boş ver, dur. Woke is coming back big time. These guys will come crawling back and make apology videos in no time. Tamam baba, verme baba. Baba? Oh, peki. Allah. Hadi bay bay. My point is there were a lot of people who basically turned their understanding of politics into their only political activism into like yelling about whatever some content creator was saying or doing or whatever movies you were watching that were bad movies and you were only supposed to watch the good movies, right? That sort of stuff. And I always thought that was stupid. I thought that was stupid when the left was doing it, and I still think it's incredibly stupid and pathetic when the right is doing it. But I think it's especially stupid when the right is doing it because they're also doing it with like bad politics, and they're doing it in the aftermath of so much backlash towards the left doing it. They designed their whole political movement around. They designed their whole political movement around yelling at the SJWs for woke scolding them for whatever kind of content they were watching or enjoying. And then they became that. And it's so incredibly fucking stupid. It's so whiny. It's loser shit. It was loser shit when the SJWs were doing it. And it's loser shit now when the anti-SJWs are doing it. Just fucking enjoy whatever you want to enjoy, man. You don't need to make sure that it's like sufficiently right wing, you know? I hate that. Why is this video game that I'm playing not sufficiently white supremacist, or why is there even a black person in this video game? I can no longer enjoy it. I just think that is loser shit. That's maximum loser shit. You are a fucking worm-like individual if this is your concern. You are not a man, but a worm-like individual. Anyway, speaking of worm-like individuals, ICE, they're doing raids in LA. I gotta pee. Protesters in Los Angeles have taken to the streets and are trying to disrupt the attempts of the Gestapo kidnapping people from warehouses.
Now at 11, chaos erupts as armed federal agents conduct sweeping immigration raids across Los Angeles. Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. Dozens were arrested during the sweep as angry protesters clashed with federal agents on the streets of downtown LA.
The surprise raids took place this morning, but the chaos continues into the night as hundreds face off with police. It all began at a Home Depot and then in LA's Garment District as federal agents used flashbang grenades to clear the protesters who were trying to disrupt the operation, targeting undocumented workers.
We have live team coverage of the raids and the protests. Lindsay Pena has reaction from the immigrant community. But we begin with Chris Wolf live near the Metropolitan Detention Center where the arrestees are being held tonight. Chris.
Yeah, Cher and Micah, protesters keep shifting locations around government buildings. Here in downtown LA, we have heard continuous sirens and clamor and the buzz of LAPD choppers overhead with spotlights cutting through the night sky. Police and FBI agents are keeping protesters away from the Roybal Federal Building and the Metropolitan Detention Center, buildings that were earlier vandalized and spray painted. Friday night, downtown LA, as an army of federal and local law enforcement personnel guards government buildings, including a detention center where suspected violators of immigration laws are being held. It's a tense cap-off to an explosive day. Tear gas, flashbangs, angry crowds, and heavily armed and armored U.S. immigration and customs enforcement agents marked a volatile Friday in the heart of Los Angeles during a series of immigration sweeps. Agents swarmed into at least 3 locations looking for suspected immigration law violators. The blowback was fast and fierce, with some protesters jumping in front of law enforcement vehicles to prevent them from moving.
They did need to bring in some backup here.
There are more of us than there are of them. This is something to remember, okay? That's number one. Number two, remember how this administration came into power claiming that they were prosecuting and going after violent criminals? Why are they doing dragnet searches at warehouses when people are working at work at their place of business? Are those the violent criminals that they are prosecuting, that they're apprehending? They're like, oh yeah, there's a real crisis. There is a real crisis of violent crime in the undocumented migrant communities, and we must prosecute. The Joe Brandon administration is simply not prosecuting these violent criminals, right? That was the argument. And I kept saying over and over again, like, the idea that police and law enforcement and the judicial system would just simply turn around and be like, oh, this guy did a rape, but they're Guatemalan migrant and they're undocumented, let him go, please. Like, the idea that that was the reality that the Republicans were presenting was so stupid, so insane, that it was the easiest thing to counter message against by simply pointing to, by simply asking some basic questions like, oh, that doesn't make any sense, does it? And yet the Democrats didn't do that. And the Republicans basically ran the entire media landscape with these ridiculous claims, these ridiculous assertions. And of course, because these assertions were completely ridiculous and their goal wasn't to actually apprehend violent criminals, their goal was to simply apprehend anyone and everyone that they don't want to give a citizenship status to, that they should give a citizenship status to, people with temporary work visas, people that actually are legally, like with the proper documentation, working on U.S. soil right now inside of sanctuary cities like California. This is one, federal overreach of epic magnitude, going into a sanctuary state and going into a sanctuary city where no one in California, people in California yell about the crime all the time, but no one in California talks about undocumented migrants. People in California do not point to undocumented migrants and say, this is insane, we have to do something about it. As a matter of fact, it's one of the greatest examples that I always use all the time. Like, people will make a big fuss about undocumented migrants in Texas, but there's more undocumented migrants in the state of California, and yet no one ever complains about it because it is a part of our communities, okay? Undocumented and documented migrants are a big part of our fucking community. It is a part of the social fabric in Los Angeles. It's a social fabric and a part of the California culture, okay? They are workers that pay taxes. They're just trying to make a living. They're not doing anything to anyone. They're not, they're not disrupting anything. And yet, Now, the federal government has decided that they're going to do this anyway. And here we are. A tremendous amount of resistance and a tremendous amount of resentment born out of this kind of illegal enforcement, this ridiculous action. Our leadership needs to step in. This is the reason why people vote Democrat, to step in times like this, so that there are sanctuary city protections. Okay? It is ridiculous. It is unacceptable. The fact that Los Angeles Police Department was offering cover for ICE and federal law enforcement to engage in this dragnet operation at a fucking warehouse is completely unacceptable. Our leadership needs to step the fuck out and have someone else lead, preferably someone progressive. I can't believe it. Like, this is pure and utter fascism in full display. Okay? Make up a fake problem. Undocumented migrants are responsible for crime. And then in the process of fixing the fake problem that you made up, that you really whipped up a frenzy around, you go and you hurt regular ass people, normal ass people. You're just your neighbors. You know what I mean? People that are not causing harm to anybody. While in the process of while simultaneously claiming that you are doing this because you have to go after criminals. Okay, why are you deporting 4-year-old cancer patients then? Why are you deporting mothers? Why are you going to a warehouse where people are working during the workday to do a dragnet operation and apprehend as many people as you possibly can? Why? Are those the criminals? This is why, obviously, I kept repeating over and over again my disbelief when I heard people who were like, I'm undocumented, but if I had a citizenship, I would vote for Donald Trump. Or my cousin is undocumented, but I voted for Donald Trump. It's like, dude, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? It was never about deporting these violent criminals, because those violent criminals are made up. This doesn't mean that there aren't violent criminals that are undocumented. Of course there are. There are violent criminals in every category. Okay? But those people that engage in heinous or violent acts are quickly apprehended and prosecuted. When these guys say the undocumented violent criminals, they're talking about Haitians with temporary protected status, the proper legal documentation to work in Springfield, Ohio. They openly stated that. They were calling them illegal aliens. They're not illegal aliens. They are legally here. Their status is being revoked. They claim that if you are black or brown and you're on U.S. soil, okay, and you're not a naturalized citizen or a natural born U.S. citizen, then they can take away that status. And they want to take away that status erroneously for no real reason. And it's not because they want to combat crime. This in and of itself is a crime. So when people don't recognize that, when people don't understand that, when people delude themselves into thinking that like these kinds of incredible acts of violence that are genuinely a waste of resources, okay? A real waste of fucking resources for no reason whatsoever, with only negative consequences. When people think that these acts are actually for the overall good, they're deluding themselves. They don't understand. I don't know how people turn a blind eye to atrocities that are happening in their backyard against their neighbors, against their loved ones. I to a certain degree, I understand, like when you think about Gaza, when you think about genocide that is being conducted with our tax dollars, right? That's happening over there. So maybe you can turn a blind eye to that. You shouldn't, and that's still unconscionable because there's so much death and destruction. We are morally culpable for that death and destruction. But like, this is literally your neighborhood. You know what I mean? This is happening all around the country, and it's not happening for any good reason other than the fact that the Republicans have successfully dehumanized entire swaths of the American population. Make no mistake, a lot of these dudes that they're apprehending are already either A, waiting for their court date, and they have the legal allowance to be inside of U.S. borders. They are simply waiting for their court date so they can get processed, or have actual fucking visas, temporary work orders. They are allowed to be here. They're allowed to work. It's the administration that magically removes that dial or turns it in the other direction and says, nah, you're illegal now. You're an illegal alien. We have revoked your protection. Do you understand? When someone says illegal alien, there is an image in the back of people's minds, a racist one for the most part. This idea that like some MS-13 tatted up gang member secretly hopped over the border, right? And came in with a bunch of drugs, maybe like kidnapped people, did a bunch of crimes. That's not how it is. The overwhelming majority of these people, the overwhelming majority of people that are considered illegal aliens by the right, are just simply black and brown migrants that are awaiting their fucking court date to receive or have already received their temporary work status. They're just turning that around. They're just basically saying, you don't have this anymore. Or we actually changed the court date deliberately so you couldn't show up. And now you have an immediate removal order on your name. It's not the community, it's leaders in charge that don't want to protect people. These cases are hugely unpopular with the general public. Exactly. Anyway, I'm a natural born citizen, but my father was born in El Salvador. When he came here, he became affiliated with MS-13 before I was born. After I was born, he tried for years to gain a citizenship, and towards the end, he had to remove tattoos, nothing related to MS-13. Although he finally received citizenship, it was revoked a year or two ago. I sometimes wonder if his history will affect my citizenship, even though I was born here. That's crazy. That's crazy that even, like, as a natural born U.S. citizen, you have constitutionally protected rights. Like, you are an American, and the very fact that you're, like, considering this is terrifying, because that's where we're at now. Like, there is a real fear of denaturalization now. They want to call it remigration. I mentioned this before, but ICE has been waiting outside the courthouse to detain those who are following orders. Lawyers in Florida also scamming people to go to their appointments. Yeah, here, if you want to understand like how little this has anything to do with criminality, how little this has to do with criminality, look at this. Trump's masked ICE Gestapo snatches a woman when her lawyer goes to the bathroom, then forcibly carries her into an elevator after she appears to faint. They wait when someone is at an immigration court proceeding. They're in the hallway. ICE comes in, apprehends the person in the hallway when they notice that her lawyer is in the bathroom.
Hold on, let's get her lawyer.
Her lawyer's in the bathroom. That's why they're taking her now. You waited until her lawyer leaves. Seriously, her lawyer's in the bathroom. I'm recording this.
Mask agents, by the way. It's illegal now for you to wear a mask when you're at a protest or just in general, even if you want to mask up for other safety or your own privacy, but also, like, again, for health reasons, right? You don't want to be a super spreader or whatever. That's illegal. But cops, they can wear masks to hide and protect their identities. Interesting. Public servants wearing masks to hide their identities. Why has this become such a common meta, you think? Become a common meta because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing is Nazi shit, okay? They know that there is going to be repercussions for this kind of behavior. It shouldn't be illegal for protesters to wear masks. It should be illegal for the cops to wear masks while they're in the process of doing cop shit. What are we doing? We pay these people's salaries. What do you mean? They get to just like apprehend people at their court proceedings.
Her lawyer's in the bathroom. Hey, Kate, they're taking your client. Kate, they're taking your client. She's fainting, Kate.
Can I go in the bathroom?
She's a female. Yes, you're allowed to go in the bathroom. Dude, she's fainting on the hallway. Wait until get medical.
No.
You can't. You want a medical? You can't transport her.
You need to leave her.
Get medical services. Come on.
No.
Hey, quit. You can't.
This can lead to random ass people pretending to be cops. It already has. A bunch of white supremacists have also been deputized, according to eyewitness testimony so far in other parts of the country. They don't have enough manpower to do this kind of shit to begin with the police force that already exists. Even though the police force that already exists is pretty fucking large, trying to do mass deportations of 20 million people, Gestapo style, like Nazi Germany style, requires an endless amount of support. They have to deputize people or use the military or use the National Guard. That's what the federal government is trying to do.
You can't manhandle her into an elevator. You're manhandling her into an elevator. You're manhandling her into an elevator, dude. Her lawyer's in the bathroom.
Hold on, let's get her lawyer.
Is there someone that knows the legal ramifications of intervening on this? Oh, there is nothing. Like, I mean, you will also go to jail. They'll probably release you, or you'll get obstruction of justice charges. The only way to stop this is with overwhelming numbers. When there are like a lot of people, like too many people, and the cops feel unsafe, I guess, to conduct their activities like this, only then have I ever seen police officers back away. Like there are images from Minneapolis and even parts of San Diego, or even what you're seeing right now. This kind of mobilization, like mass community mobilization, protecting one another when our institutions won't protect us, is the only way to disrupt these sorts of illegal and unjustifiable, unconscionable acts that the federal government is entertaining and engaging in. And of course, given the way that this administration is actively trying to criminalize speech, I'm certain that even me saying this one day could be presented as illegal, okay? Oh, Hassan is urging people to do something illegal. It's like, no, people have a right to engage in civil disobedience, and there are unjustifiable acts that the state engages in that people have every right to resist against, okay? If you look at our history with chattel slavery and the defense of chattel slavery, if you look at our history with the civil rights struggle, and you understand that brave individuals that found these actions, these legal actions by the state to be unconscionable, and took matters into their own hands and protested against these kinds of actions and disrupted these kinds of illegal and unjustifiable actions, if you find those people to be in the right historically, then you can understand where we're at right now as well. We just did it in Compton. People this morning, people figured out ICE was coming, blocked the entrance to Home Depot. They parked across the street, then tried walking in, couldn't drive off. Yeah. Why is there not more civilian protests against ICE? There are. There are. What do you mean? I participated in one. I was at a rally, a pro-Palestinian rally that marched to the ICE headquarters in D.C. for the immediate release of Mahmoud Khalil. And also what you're watching right now here in Los Angeles, this is a spontaneous mobilization, a popular mobilization of the people in the community that find these actions to be unconscionable. The reason why you don't hear about it too much is because the media doesn't cover it as much. I mean, this is like a massive issue, and I think that's the reason why KTLA is covering it, and this will probably make it, this kind of mobilization does end up causing the media to cover it. But ultimately, this has to happen. This kind of rapid mobilization has to take place, both in the short term to try and stop the federal government from engaging in these violent, heinous actions that are not only invoking Nazi Germany, but also simultaneously are completely unproductive in every aspect. Like this is inhumane, right? You're ripping people away from their day-to-day existence for no reason other than the fact that you want them out of the country, right? By lying about their background, saying that they're criminals, and dehumanizing them in the exact same way that Nazis did with Jews, socialists, communists, and using the same process to basically rip them away from their communities, away from their families, away from their loved ones, away from their place of work. Because that's what the Nazis did as well. It was a process of denaturalization. Jews were no longer considered citizens of the state after the race laws. Same with socialists and communists that were also sent to these concentration camps. They were considered no longer individuals of the state. They were actively dehumanized against, and then simultaneously, through the legal process, they became non-citizens. And you can do whatever you want to non-citizens in the, at the time. And clearly, that's what this administration is trying to do as well. So Even the mechanisms of the state are damn near identical. And I do not think that this will stop with just undocumented migrants, especially because most of these people that they are calling illegal aliens are not actually illegal aliens, right? They're not illegal aliens in the way that you think they are. They're not just like devoid of any sort of paperwork whatsoever. They are legally on U.S. soil. It's just the government has the capacity to switch that process off. Okay? That's it. Someone who is legal today can be considered illegal tomorrow. Because, as I always say, and I always stress, the difference between a documented migrant and an undocumented migrant is just documentation, is just paperwork. It's the government saying you're allowed to be here versus you're not allowed to be here. And up until recently, there was at least like a little bit of back and forth in this, and there was a little bit of normalcy around this process where people that came to the United States of America that were seeking asylum legally, mind you, would have to cross the border. Most of them are legally waiting for their asylum case to be heard. They're still undocumented, but it's not illegal. Exactly. These are not people that just have no interest in like dealing with the paperwork or dealing with law enforcement. These are people who came into the United States, applied for a legal asylum claim, and they are awaiting their court dates, and the government decides, nah, no court date for you. You got to get the fuck out because you're a criminal, rapist, drug dealer, parasite. These people are not, one, they're not criminal, rapist, drug dealer, parasites, because obviously if they were criminal rapists, like the previous government would have prosecuted them. And clearly the administration would not actually entertain the notion of revoking due process, because due process would show that they have just cause to deport these people. So if the government, I ask you once again, if a government can declare your status illegal with no real reason other than made up claims that you are a fucking criminal, and that every single person that came from all different walks of life from all across the planet to the tune of 20 million are now overnight considered non-persons, non-citizens, and must be fucking deported instantly to an El Salvador concentration camp with no due process, why the fuck do you think this won't come for you inevitably? A government that does not entertain the humanity of all people, even those who are waiting in line to become legal asylum seekers, so they are technically legally on U.S. soil awaiting their court date. A government that just decides we're switching that off, and now you're all targets of the state, enemies of the state. A government that does that will come for you as well, and will say the exact same things about you as well, and me. All of us, whoever they decide to do this kind of thing towards. So what you do in this moment matters. What you do in this moment in resistance against these kinds of ridiculous and violent actions of the federal government matter, because this is basically training for when it comes for you, okay? This is community organizing and mass mobilization that will be an absolute necessity. It's an absolute necessity right now, and one day it'll be an absolute necessity to protect you as well and your loved ones as well.
TLA was in the air and on the ground during the immigration enforcement firestorm. Footage shows federal agents chasing.
It's not illegal to enable a narco cesspit. What? You can't even spell. First of all, I think you mean narco, not anarcho. And cesspit, that's not how you sell cesspit either. I'm so confused as to how a lot of these people have this feeling of superiority towards those who are being victimized by the state right now, but they're so fucking stupid. You're just a stupid person, and I guess the only way that you can feel superior is if Big Daddy government is like doing violence to those who you think are inferior to you, and only then do you fucking feel superior. Is that it? That's what a fucking weak man does, all right? That's not what a strong man does. You're not a strong man at all. You're weak. You're weak. You're dumb. You're angry, and you're too stupid to recognize that one day you or a loved one could just as easily be in the fucking crosshairs.
Out of a Home Depot in the Westlake district, not far from downtown Los Angeles. Individuals often gather at home improvement stores looking for temporary work opportunities.
That Home Depot that they're filming is the one that I went to get the Christmas tree.
Another raid unfolded at a clothing store along Town Avenue in the Fashion District, where agents hauled off multiple workers in handcuffs, loading them into vans, as other agents in riot gear clashed with onlookers in what could be described as a tense standoff. Immigration rights advocates joined the showdown, using megaphones at times to speak to garment industry workers, telling them to avoid signing any paperwork or speaking to federal agents. The activity is the latest roundup in the Trump administration's unparalleled crackdown on illegal immigration. Another ICE raid Friday targeted what appeared to be a clothing warehouse or possibly...
They shadow banned your account today, had to look you up by name? I doubt it. Everybody always says this, but everybody always says stuff like this, but I don't think it's real. It's just like your own phone is probably bricked or something.
Corporate headquarters building in the South Los Angeles area.
Since this happened today and no one was notified, will this happen again tomorrow? Will it be next week? Will it be next month? It's that sense
right here.
of uncertainty, fear, and anxiety that is created in our city when this happens.
One demonstrator shouted at authorities tonight, quote, "This is..."
Am I crazy for thinking all these counter-protests are fuel to declare martial law? I mean, the idea that this is like unproductive to try and actively resist against this kind of illegal enforcement, illegal immigrant enforcement action is inevitably going to be used to declare martial law. Like, what are you supposed to do? Just fucking lean into it? Just, you know, concede unconditionally ahead of time?
Day one of the war. Reporting live in downtown Los Angeles, Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
Chris, thank you. The sweeping raids igniting furious protests and contentious standoffs between activists and ICE agents and police. The detention of at least 45 individuals, including a union president, is the latest chapter in President Trump's escalating immigration crackdown.
Lindsay Pena live in downtown LA with reaction to the arrests from people who have loved ones caught up in the chaos. Lindsay.
Yeah, that's right, Micah and Cher. Now, we're right across the street from the federal building where that rally and protest started hours ago this afternoon, and there is still activity taking place tonight. You can hear people honking, and another crowd has gathered just across the street right now. We did talk to someone who says that her husband was caught up in those raids earlier today, and now she is wondering what will happen to her family.
We have elected officials at every level of government.
Hundreds gathered outside the federal building on Los Angeles Street Friday afternoon following ICE raids.
The Democrats are full complicit in this? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And they have to do everything in their power going forward, every waking moment to basically work against everything that they've done leading up to this moment. Obviously, the real harm is still coming from the Republicans. But the Democratic Party allowed this to happen. The Democratic Party leaned into the anti-immigrant sentiment instead of actively counter-messaging against Republicans that always use immigration as a problem. They always claim that immigrants are violent with no evidence whatsoever. That's what's so frustrating beyond the dehumanization, beyond all of these other like immediate horrible things is how foreseeable this actually was. I've been screaming about this for years at this point. This is yet another one of those issues that I constantly rail against the Democrats for not doing enough to both defend migrants and to also actively counter message against the Republican dehumanization of migrants.
At several locations earlier in the day. Among those in the crowd was Dulce Camacho, who tells KTLA her husband was taken into custody near a Home Depot in Westlake.
I was able to see him for 10 minutes. He said they They haven't gave him anything to eat. They made him sign some papers. You know, he speaks some English, but he doesn't read it well. So I know he doesn't know what he signed.
Originally from Mexico, she says he's been in the country for 13 years and is undocumented. Now she.
The other side of the story that I keep trying to warn against is that when people recognize that the instruments of justice that are supposed to defend us, this border crisis, when instruments of justice that are supposed to defend every single citizen and every single person on U.S. soil unconditionally are no longer doing that, when the social contract is ripped apart in a way that every single person can understand, every single person can comprehend, then there will be a lot of decentralized acts of violence. Do you understand? When people look to the situation in front of them and go, okay, well, the government's not protecting me. I have to protect my own. I have to protect my family. I have to rely on others. Then yeah, it's bedlam. It's chaos. The whole purpose of liberal democracy is so that there is this social contract that's supposed to be maintained so that there is some stability. It's going away. As more and more people recognize that the government is not here to protect them at all, when there's no pressure valve, people are understandably going to do everything they can to protect themselves. As a queer American immigrant in Germany, there's stress because second-generation naturalized Syrians are stabbing queer people in Berlin, singling out queer faculty schools and proclaiming Islam as boss. What's the answer to balancing immigration? What? First of all, number one, we're talking about America. Secondly, get this anti-migrant Islamophobic shit out of here. Stay in fucking Germany then, okay? It's ironic because you're a fucking queer American immigrant in Germany. The equivalent here would be the German government with masked Gestapo officers coming and fucking breaking down your door and ripping you away from your bed in the middle of the night to not deport you back to America, but to a third place where you will have no protections whatsoever. Okay? If you want to understand what this looks like as a goddamn American dumbass who is an immigrant in a foreign nation, just think about it like that. Hey, sorry, I fantasized about Syrians coming and fucking killing me and saying that they're going to do it for Sharia law as a migrant myself in Germany. So much of this is just like, so much of this unironically stems from people just like making up shit and then freaking out about whatever they fantasized. Sorry, I made something up. I fantasized about it. I fantasized about a scary thing happening to me, and someone needs to do something about this. This may be a stupid question and I should really be more educated, but what exactly is the end goal of this? Is this administration just satisfying the white supremacist ideologies of their constituents? Is this to further push against class solidarity? Like, who's making money from this? This kind of enforcement action is a way to appease the masses. You're leaning into, after years and years and years of dividing and conquering, you're leaning into some of the most like racist ambitions that people have. The end goal is fascism, which is already here, to be fair. The end goal is full control. Fascism creates stability without disrupting the pre-existing capitalist hierarchy. Some beautiful redecorating outside the Federal Detention Center. Alex is fuck ice.
She has to tell her two daughters their father won't be home tonight.
I explained to her when we picked her up from school with my sister, you know, that I've been talking to her every day about this, so she kind of knows. I told her I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to be okay, you know. We don't have a big family, but we have my sister, my brother-in-law, and, you know, with that, we're going to be okay and stick together and try to get him. If he is able to get released here, then that's great. If not, then, you know, work hard and try to see how we could keep the family together.
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Also taken into custody today was SEIU California President David Huerta. In a statement on X, U.S. Attorney Bill Isaly said he was, quote, arrested for interfering with federal officers and will face arraignment in federal court on Monday.
He had to be taken to the hospital, and he's being detained for exercising his First Amendment rights. So we're asking for the immediate release of our President David Huerta.
Local elected officials who spoke at today's rally, like Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez, say they will fight for the people affected by the raids.
We're making sure that what they're doing in this building, how are they detaining folks, that they have full rights. And we're telling people you need to know your rights.
Now, Sharon, Micah, back out here live. I want to direct your attention to protesters and law enforcement here at the entrance to the 101 South. We are at Los Angeles and Aliso Street. There was a confrontation just moments ago, but it does look like those protesters are moving on further down Los Angeles.
Why do you need fascism in a country like the U.S.? Both parties are already puppets of capitalists. Great question. It's because when both parties are still puppets of capitalists and capital owners, there is still a lot of instability born out of the contradictions worsening. There's still a lot of economic volatility, economic instability, and people get angry, they get restless, and one party, at the very least, has to redirect that attention and redirect that anger and resentment towards more vulnerable populations in an effort to keep things going. Because if people don't actually decide that undocumented migrants or like trans people or all these like vulnerable defenseless populations are actually responsible for all the awful things that they're experiencing, they might actually catch wind of who is really responsible for the destruction of their living standards. It's that simple.
Political party like Mussolini.
Here.
We are the year 2022. 100 years ago, 1922, is when fascism really begins in Europe. 1922.
Like, you might ask yourself that same exact question with Nazi Germany. You know, why did they do this? Well, there was tremendous economic instability, and there was a growing momentum of communism, trade unionism, socialism in the country at a time of unprecedented economic volatility in the aftermath of World War I and the damage that that caused. And one group quickly seized on this and redirected that enmity towards social groups that were both simultaneously incredibly powerful and also incredibly weak and dangerous. And those groups ended up seizing all of the power while directly collaborating with liberals in power and also with capital owners that wanted to maintain that same hierarchy. They wanted to maintain their same standards of profit. They wanted to continue the way that the system was going. They were more fearful of a workers' revolt or revolution than they were of some kind of fascist control, because fascist control would mean, yeah, sure, a lot of people get killed in the process, but I'm fine. I'm a business owner and I get to maintain my profits. If profits are the highest order of priority for you, you don't care what happens to other people. You don't care what happens to workers. You don't care what happens to workers that become non-citizens in the process, as long as those workers don't actually eat away at your profit margins.
It was the year of something called the March on Rome. It was October of 1922 when Mussolini led the March on Rome and took over in what was basically a coup d'etat, taking over the Italian government. And he then instituted a fascist regime. It lasted from 1922 until around 1944. At that point, it came to an end, and Mr. Mussolini was hung upside down in the street and killed by the people that he had led, which tells you something about fascism. Hopefully, you will remember. The next case of fascism happens 11 years later. It's January 1933.
This is so funny. Someone said, is Hassan covering the LA raids yet? Is such a funny thing to ask right at this moment. Yes, I am. In the process of covering that, I'm explaining to you this concept as well, how and why fascism takes root in society, how it's currently happening in the United States of America. And, you know, that is a part of my coverage.
And in Germany, the government
there Knife, thank you for the 5
turns
gifted.
itself over. Didn't require quite the coup d'etat, but it took not that different a form, turned the government over to the leader of a fascist political party, like Mussolini in Italy, only his name was Adolf Hitler, and he was head of the Nazi Party. And a few years later, in 1936, a democratically elected government in Spain was overthrown by an illegal military revolt of General Franco, who waged a civil war, displaced that government, and established Spanish fascism, which lasted several decades. And then he died. And Spain reverted back to a non-fascist arrangement. Those are the three major fascisms we know about. And what I'm about to tell you is what we know from what they actually did. Before each of them, capitalism, the dominant economic system in each of those three countries, was content with and satisfied with what we are familiar with as parliamentary democratic government. You know, elections every year, people elected to one or two house legislature, like our Congress, and going about the normal business of running a capitalist society. Everybody gets to vote, we pay a lot of attention, but the people with the money, the capitalists, the wealthy, the big CEOs, they run the show because they donate to the parties, they donate to the candidates, their lobbyists help write the laws. We're all familiar with that because we're used to that here too. The problem is, in each of those countries, the capitalism that was normally perfectly happy with conventional representative electoral democracy was falling apart. The capitalism was producing such suffering, such anger, such bitterness among the mass of people that there was a developing anti-capitalist movement. And this scared the capitalist class, the owners of the enterprises, the big CEOs. They could see the handwriting on the wall. In Italy, just before fascism, you had the greatest general strike in the history of the country in Torino, led by a then obscure communist named Antonio Gramsci, who becomes one of the great communist theoreticians of the 20th century. Terrified people. In 1917, a few years before, an anti-capitalist revolution in Russia.
By the way, yeah, Gramsci went to prison, or was in exile, I guess. But something to also consider is that liberals unironically look to this period of historical struggle and will, without a hint of self-reflection, claim that it was actually the communists that were responsible for the rise in fascism. Do you understand? Now, saying that at the time was wrong, right? Saying that at the time was wrong, and that was the reason why liberals actually aligned with fascists, okay? But saying that right now, almost 100 years after the fact, is insane. Saying that 100 years after the fact is like, well, you know what happened. You know what took its place.
Succeeded, terrified capitalists everywhere in the world. Here in the US too. So there was this sense it's falling apart, our system. And when that happens, there's a strong push, doesn't always succeed, but a strong push to push aside representative democracy, all of that, and have the iron heel, the iron fist. Change the government from that game to one where its job is to control a society, repress every critic of capitalism you can find, do it all in the name of the race or the nation or patriotism, to give it all a better sounding name than saying we're going to save capitalism by crushing everybody who
Yeah. So for those of you asking, like, what is the purpose of all of this? This is it. This is it. This is the purpose. It is to reinstate control, complete control of society, repression of civil liberties, complete and utter totalitarian control in an effort to maintain the existing hierarchies when there is unprecedented instability against, born out of said capitalist hierarchies.
Disagrees with it, everybody who has turned against it. So it is done in the name of, well, the nation, nationalism. It's a good way of covering it over. Everything we're doing is not about preserving capitalism.
This
That's
person
a
is
real
so
agenda.
funny. I just spent so much time describing that these people, bro, they are criminals. Why defend them? Why can't illegal migrants apply for visas like every normal person? They have. They are. Like the people that are being apprehended, the people that are currently being apprehended are legally, they have a legal right to be on U.S. soil and work. Are you watching on mute? What is going on? They literally are. The problem here is the difference between an undocumented migrant and a documented one is just paperwork. So the government can just as easily offer them documentation or deny them said documentation while they're in the process of receiving said documentation and claim that they have to be removed. And that process of removal, I think he meant before, they are though. These are people who are in the process. That's the whole point. They're having their legal pathway towards receiving American citizenship revoked from them. That's the point.
It's about preserving the nature, or preserving white America, if you bring it over into us, or preserving the Italian soul, or preserving genuine Spain, whatever it was always the same. And here's what it involved. You crush the labor unions. You either kill them, that happened often, jail them, exile them, no more labor unions. You go after the socialists.
I don't know if you remember, but last year you watched a news clip of veterans visiting Normandy again. The one guy who spoke was my great-grandpa, chillest guy ever. He died shortly after that clip aired, but I kid you not, he wore a Palestinian pin I brought him in 2014 on his penny loafers till the day he died from the river to the sea. Oh my God. That's amazing, Chatter. I mean, I'm sorry for your loss. I remember making a joke about how your grandfather, your great-grandfather, was literally more coherent than Joe Biden. It's always the good ones that go before the bad ones. I guess that's the point. That's Blau's grandpa too, for the record. Blau's grandpa, the oldest Hasanabi head at the time, who recently passed, who passed a couple months ago, he was also another World War II veteran who's Jewish and also was an anti-Zionist. It's crazy. It's crazy how a lot of people who fought Nazis were like, hey, I don't really fuck with the new Nazi movement that's growing. We fought and almost died to, stop this. Why is it coming back again? I don't really like that. I don't really like that at all.
You go after the communists. Antonio Gramsci, the leader of the Communist Party in Italy, the leader of that great strike, was imprisoned by Mussolini and spent the last 20 years of his life in jail. Hitler killed people, so that was easier. And in the Spanish Civil War, vast numbers of people were killed as well. So that's what it is. It's capitalism enforced. You still have employers and employees, like capitalism before. The leaders of the capitalist.
Yeah, don't forget about, like, during Nazi Germany, during the reign of Nazi Germany and the terror, people still went to work, okay? People were still going to work. There were still bosses and workers. Their living standards were getting worse and worse year over year because fascism is inherently suicidal and is inherently destructive,
Industries remained there unless they were deemed to be not part of the nation. Don't be fooled. Underneath the veneer of the government coming in is the ultimate purpose: protect capitalism. That's why it's there. That's why this is done. It's the extreme of capitalism having produced its own negation, its own opposition, its own self-destruction that calls forth the fascist alternative to come in there and deal with things.
The clip of you saying he's more mentally focused than Biden. It is kind of wild. He is kind of eating right now. He is kind of fucking gagging Biden with his. This is Chatter's great grandpa. His mental fortitude. I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of backfiring a little bit. The more I hear him at his fucking old ass age of like 110 or however old he is, the more I'm like, Damn, I don't think Brandon's got it like that. What's happening here? Uh-oh.
All those years ago, saving mementos. What's this?
That's a piece of shrapnel.
Like this tiny piece of shrapnel from a German bomb that exploded close to his boat. It's also a chance to honor friends who didn't make it home, remembering the past with a message for younger generations.
Always hated war action movies, told us propaganda was a thing in the 90s and insisted that we look inwards until the end. He would have liked the conversation and cigar with you, man. Aw, rest in power to your great grandpa. What a goat. What a legend. One reason people in the U.S. don't see fascism creeping is because they can't imagine that something this bad could happen here. Denial is a powerful thing until it's too late. I think that plays a role in this for sure. There's also a lot of people who just simply are like American entitlement, American exceptionalism, American individualism are such powerful forces, such powerful cultural forces in this country that a lot of people genuinely don't understand how this will inevitably impact them. Okay? They don't understand how this will impact them in the short term when, you know, even for selfish reasons, even if you can't recognize the humanity of these people being ripped apart, right? You can at the very least recognize that, like, when this kind of instability takes root, who's going to fucking pick the fruit? You can think about it in an incredibly selfish way like that. But even then, Americans have no capacity to recognize that, right? Because they're too stupid. But then also, in the long term, these kinds of violent enforcement actions will inevitably creep its way into your life as well. It will happen to someone that you love, a neighbor, an immediate family member, a loved one. This is an unstoppable force. It does not go away. Fascism is like a ticking time bomb where you either try to stop it dead in its tracks at its inception, or once enough instability and enough violence has taken root in society that a dam breaks and everyone engages in popular mobilization. And the problem is, the longer you wait to stop these kinds of actions, to stop fascism from growing, the harder it will be to resist against it, and the death toll will be far larger. The example I always use is Israel, right? Israel is a full-blown fascist society, and there are ways of stopping Israel right now. Israel is doing an ethnic cleansing campaign as a fascist society. The immediate ways of stopping Israel is a simple phone call by the American government. If that doesn't happen, then there has to be a lot of pressure against the American government. Let's say enough pressure mounts against the American government, so the American government has to recalculate their allegiance to Israel, and then they make that phone call. If Israel says, no, we're going to continue doing this death and destruction campaign, and America's like, well, you can't say no to us, then comes sanctions. Sanctions are consequential for Israeli society. Some people might be harmed as a consequence of those sanctions because they're an act of collective punishment. If Israel says, no, we're going to still keep doing it after those sanctions, what comes next? Military intervention. So there are always meaningful points of pressure. Civil disobedience and protests are the actual most peaceful ways of resisting against these kind of fascist actions. Violence in retaliation against this sort of thing is inevitable. When it reaches a certain boiling point, people are inevitably going to say, well, fuck you. You've killed my family, or you've arrested and sent a loved one to a slave labor colony. That's unacceptable. It will build too much resentment. In America, the mechanism of control has always been commodity consumption and also the pressure valve of the 2-year period of the democratic process, right? The idea that you have a say, the idea that your voice matters, the idea that, like, you can actually enact marginal change by voting for one party over the next. But when people recognize that that pressure valve is not real, it's just aesthetic, and that authoritarianism, which is something that Americans don't actually like, when it's directed like this, when it's directional in this way, okay? When you know, Gestapo time takes place, when it's happening in broad daylight, then people will inevitably take up action against these sorts of government interventions. I think you overestimate people's tolerance for oppression. Authoritarian regimes murdered and enslaved people by millions before being toppled by military defeat, not popular revolt, although popular revolt may have come after the military defeat. No, there was every step of the way, there was militant resistance. That's not true. I think that's whitewashing history. Every step of the way, there was militant resistance, and it happened without the internet. It happened without everyone being constantly interconnected with one another. Fuck, man. Many Border Patrol vehicles and other unmarked cars just exited the anti-ICE protest area in Paramount, California. They were met with fierce resistance from protesters, with a number of vehicles being visibly damaged. Do these ICE agents even feel bad? I have to imagine there's got to be at least a couple. Eventually, they'll run out of agents, right? I mean, it's like saying, do the Gestapo feel bad? I don't think so. They're just following orders, you know? Yeah. Also, speaking of Democratic culpability in this process, this is from January 30th, 2025, first 10 days into the Trump administration. Here is U.S. Senator from Connecticut, Chris Murphy. In the first week, Trump removed 7,300 people. On average, Biden was removing 15,000 a week. Under Biden, 72% of arrests were criminals. Under Trump, it dropped to around 50%. Trump is removing less people and less criminals. These guys are terrible at everything. Why are you covering this as though there is like validity to the claims of criminal migrants? We were much better at removing these sick, perverted migrant criminals. Sick, man. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Angeles. Again, we will keep you updated on what's happening here downtown throughout the night and tomorrow morning on KTLA. For now, we are live downtown. Lindsay Pena, KTLA 5 News. Back to you.
Lindsay, thank you. And from the ground to the air, let's go to Gil Labus over downtown LA in Sky 5.
If the Democrats don't do anything here, if the Democrats don't actually even do a little bit of the bare minimum protections for its constituents here, there is no reason for them to exist. It's completely over. This is, I know I've said this already time and time again, and I will probably repeat myself quite frequently, but fascism is here, okay? And I don't mean like, oh, you say everything is fascism. Like, this is the historic fascist policies that we know and we dislike. We have seen it. We have seen this happen throughout history. This is the moment of truth. Do liberals completely capitulate? Which I think they are. They have so far. But we have, hold on one second. We've officially crossed the Rubicon. And we're now at an impasse. Does the administration get away with it? Or do they get away with it with at least ample resistance from the Democrats, like protections from the Democrats?
Gil.
Chair and Micah, this is the small group that Lindsay was just talking.
What can they do, Law? Are you kidding me? California as a state is a nation state in and of itself, whose economy is like the 5th largest economy on the planet. California has an army. California as a nation state is profoundly important to the American to the American nation. Okay? It's the 4th largest. I'm sorry. It's not even the 5th largest. It is the 4th largest. California as a state is the 4th largest nation state economy on the planet. Just the state alone. Do you understand? Do you know how incredible that is? Do you know how much power Governor Newsom has? It is a sanctuary state. It's supposed to be a sanctuary state. I've used like this and abortion protections and like, queer protections and stuff like that are the last good things that this goddamn state has to offer. That's the whole point of California. That's the whole point of California, is that like it's a massive nation. It's a massive state that has a massive economy that contributes so much to the rest of the world, but specifically to the rest of the United States of America. It is supposed to protect migrants. That's it. No real Californian would ever turn around and make a big fuss about undocumented migrants at all. This is a border state that has more undocumented migrants and documented migrants in it than Texas. And yet, it's never a talking point. It's never been a talking point. Oh, we're full. California is full. We have too much. We have too many people. That is not the California way at all. People don't even entertain that. Okay? People don't even entertain that notion here. Like, yes, the average Californian is unironically a Hitlerite when it comes to homelessness, and crime panic narratives are very, very popular here, for sure. A lot of that is born out of the unaffordable housing and the housing crisis that exists within the state that Gavin Newsom refuses to fucking deal with because he is firmly invested in the same corporate benefactors that pump the Republican Party at the national level, the real estate developers and the like. Having said that, however, when it comes to undocumented migrants, Californians do not have that same reactionary attitude that Texans do. This is a state that has grown with migrant labor, okay? This is a state that became the fourth largest economy on the planet as a standalone state with migrant labor. Why is that? Both are border states. Because California sees no reason to fucking engage in this kind of idiotic reactionary fucking propaganda. Texas does in order to maintain its dominance. To be real, it's always been a point of complaint for Orange County. California is not a complete monolith. Yes, the reactionary enclaves exist. It doesn't change the overarching attitudes in California. Okay? Fuck Orange County. It's like saying, okay, well, in Santee, people actually hate migrants. Yeah, I know. It's Clanty for a reason. It's called Clanty for a fucking reason. I know. You can point to reactionary enclaves in this massive, expansive, ginormous state.
About a dozen, the last of the protesters here leaving the area. They were just up against the California Highway Patrol, who have opened all on-ramps and off-ramps to the 101 freeway here, but that small group now moving north of the freeway at this point. They were over on Temple and Los Angeles Street, which is now cleared, but the federal officers moved over there, and we're monitoring that group, that small group here. They marched all the way up here to the CHP that were here on Aliso, but they have moved on since. That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Okay, Gil, thank you. The mayor.
Dressed for war, clutching onto armoured vehicles through the streets of Los Angeles. It's images like these that are striking fear into migrant communities across America, where an already zealous immigration department known as ICE has been instructed to ramp up their raids and are doing so with enthusiasm. On Tuesday, 2,200 people were arrested, a record high. Protests against the treatment of migrants took place outside detention centres, with one gathering turning violent. Elsewhere, demonstrators criticised the arbitrary nature of the arrests.
Our community is under attack and is being terrorized.
Yeah, the World Cup is next year, by the way, is so crazy to me, because now we also have implemented this this silly ass like Muslim ban 2.0, not even just Muslim ban, but just like every country that America dominates ban 2.0 from all around the world. We got the Olympics, we got the World Cup. Like, none of this makes sense. U.S. tourism has taken a goddamn nosedive in the process. It's crazy.
These are workers. These are fathers. These are.
I don't know why history has to repeat itself, by the way, this aggressively. It's like Germany had the Olympics in 38. I know. Why does history have to repeat itself in this incredibly blunt manner? It's so fucking crazy. Or 36, not 38. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense how people can't understand it. It's like bludgeoning them in the head. It's right in front of them. Why did you learn anything? Why did you learn anything in school if you're not going to apply it to your current living standards right now?
Our mothers, and this has to stop.
The record total comes after instruction from the White House demanding that ICE arrest 3,000 people a day, even without warrants. But the approach has been criticised for denying basic legal rights.
They just told us right now that they're suspending all attorney visits, so they're denying access to us attorneys who are here to represent.
Also illegal, by the way. Everything they're doing is illegal. The fact that they're able to do this and operate like this in the state of California is insane to me. You are the state of California. Use the National Guard against the fucking ICE agents, if that's what it takes, to force the lawyers to go in to these facilities. That's not something you can do. Like the ICE can't do this. They don't have this kind of power. What are we doing? And if it's might is right, if might is right politics is what's happening, then show your fucking might.
The chaotic nature of the new approach is epitomised by the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, wrongfully deported to El Salvador in March. A legal showdown between the courts and President Trump left him languishing in a notorious El Salvadorian prison.
Also, all this militarization was inevitably going to be used against Americans. Like, it was inevitably going to be used domestically. And here we are.
For months. Yesterday, the White House announced they were bringing him back to face charges of trafficking undocumented migrants within the US, framing this as the next stage in a legal process, rather than acquiescing to any court ruling.
Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like.
But Abrego Garcia's lawyer says this is exactly the opposite, calling the charges he faces in Tennessee an abuse of power.
I think what this really goes to show is that this administration, instead of simply admitting a mistake and apologizing, this matter could have gone away within a week or two after the case being filed. Instead of simply admitting their mistake, they'll stop at nothing at all, even some of the most preposterous charges imaginable.
But court battles and protests are just a minor irritation for President Trump. What he cares about is whether his tough line on immigration is working and popular with his base. And on those fronts, he's on top. In the year to April, attempted crossings at the border are down by over 90%.
Republicans are trying to avoid potential fallout from the billionaire brawl between President.
Yeah, it's crazy because they could have just brought him back at any point, and this is obvious because they did bring him back. I have this sneaking suspicion that the reason why they brought him back, by the way, with this ridiculous charge, was to get ahead of a potential court order and a constitutional crisis that they would inevitably lose. Okay? I think they knew they have to still at least like keep up the aesthetics that they're abiding by the normal standards and they're abiding by the rule of law. And that's the reason why they were like, all right, if we have to bring him back because that's what the Maryland judge order was, let's bring him back with this, this silly ass charge. And that way we can dominate the media narrative that like he actually is a violent criminal with these post hoc charges that they slapped on. And in the process of the court case, by the time the court case goes against us, by the time the courts basically decide that these charges are ridiculous and he goes free, it'll be so late in the game that, we will have flooded the media. We would have flooded the markets with this stupid ass idea that like, no, this guy was worthy of deportation, even if we did it with a post hoc rationalization. By that point, they will have moved on to the next thing, Chaos erupts at U.S. federal courthouse in New York City as ICE detains a man just moments after his immigration case is dismissed.
Wait a minute. Jesus.
Get off, guys. Federal arrest. Get on the ground. Get back. Get back. Get back. Get back.
Get the fuck back.
This is in a courthouse, dude.
Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Nazi fucking pigs. Of course. For the record, if it was up to this current administration, even saying that they're Nazi fucking pigs would be illegal. And maybe if they get their wishes across, it eventually will be.
I'll get it. Get him up.
Just give us space. Just give back. Like MPS stuff here. Watch out. Just watch out. Just trying to get something off the ground. Gotta get back.
Someone get his name.
Yeah, here, by the way, the reason why I say this is because of this. ICE acting director responds to political rhetoric causing anti-ICE sentiment and threats to federal officers and their families. I'm not asking them to stop. I'm demanding that they stop.
Officers and agents walk into danger so other people can sleep safely at night, so kids can make it to school safely and play outside.
Scumbags.
So while it's easy to be an armchair quarterback and make up talking points that get activists riled up, the bottom line is my officers and agents are out there protecting the same people who are threatening their safety. Law enforcement's common sense. Politicians need to stop putting my people in danger. I'm not asking them to stop. I'm demanding that they stop. Here's what I have to say to Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, and anyone else stirring up the outrage about what ICE does. These are real people with real families you're hurting with your ridiculous rhetoric and inflammatory comments. And it's time to remember that.
Stop calling our ICE agents that are doing Gestapo shit. Gestapo is hurting our fucking Nazi feelings, you know? Amused. Terror. Democrats using psychological warfare against FBI agents just doing their jobs in LA. The goal is to elicit a violent response they can use against you as propaganda against the government. Bro, everyone turns into Israel, dude. It's so funny. Like, this is the most Israel ass comment I've ever seen. This is the same as like, oh, the terror babies are trying to get us to kill them with their words to piss us off, so that you know, they garner sympathy. Everything is IDF. Everything is Israel coded.
What are you saying about, bro? Are your shoulders? Do you feel guilty about all the bad shit you do, you dumb motherfucker?
You guys don't do shit.
Stretch it out. Stretch it out. You dumb motherfucker.
You don't do shit.
Keep making eye contact with me. Keep making eye contact with me. You like looking at me. Keep making eye contact with me. Yeah, come over here. Okay, I'll see you later.
You're caring about people's lives. But you're little fucking white supremacist ass bitches. You don't fucking do shit for the world. You're read the last page of Mussolini's biography, you pieces of shit.
Read Mussolini's biography, you pieces of shit.
No ice in LA. No ice in LA. No ice in LA. We're here. You're getting paid. We're here because we fucking care. You Nazi skinhead pig fucker.
If they knew how to read, they'd be so pissed. They would learn. They would feel so much shame if they knew how to read or write, you know? Yeah. By the way, people with a megaphone are being considered terrorists in this circumstance, and not the heavily militarized domestic occupation. Like, these aren't people who are terrorizing. It's those who are yelling against these people. That's fucking insanity. Anyway, great stuff. Great stuff. We got the Theo Vance situation that I'm going to get into in a second as well. And obviously we have the Zoran rat fucking operation that's taken place. But here it is. The Elon Musk, Donald Trump back and forth has reached a boiling point. Not really. Trump has finally responded.
President Trump and Elon Musk. The two engaged in a social media spat where the tech boss blasted the president's massive tax and
Zoran rat fucking, what are you talking about? They're trying to, I haven't even been able to talk about this, but like Jessica Ramos endorsed Andrew Cuomo. We'll talk about that in a second.
border spending bill. Trump said Musk can keep that golden key he gave him during his Oval Office visit send-off just last week, but it appears he's keeping the door closed on a reconciliation. Yesterday, he told reporters he's just not interested. Scott McFarland has more.
Yeah, here is Elon Musk replying to Bannon, by the way. Bannon is a criminal. Bannon is a communist R-word. Bannon is peak R-word. Bannon is peak R-word. Bannon is peak R-word at I find R-words. I mean, what's hilarious about this is, again, 60-year-old man saying this, okay? Let them fight. Let them fight. Let them fight.
On what's at stake.
as the president departed the White House South Lawn for a weekend at his estate in New Jersey.
Mr. President, will you cancel Elon's contracts?
The big chill between the president and Elon Musk still hangs in the air. Sources close to the president told CBS News Trump is not interested in a call with Musk and said Trump sees him as immature and acting out. The two traded cutting, ugly messages about each other on social media Thursday. The president writing Musk was wearing thin at the White House.
And liftoff.
The future of Musk's federal SpaceX contracts, potentially worth nearly $20 billion, are now in question.
And this election, I think, is going to decide the fate of America.
But Musk, who heavily bankrolled Republicans in 2024, could pull $100 million in promised donations from pivotal midterms next year. David Downey, a Department of Education employee for 30 years, is now on administrative leave and uncertain of his future, even after Musk's departure.
When you see the immaturity here and just the behavior, it is embarrassing. It is frustrating. And when you see that happening and knowing the seriousness, the intelligence, the commitment of the people that I've worked with, and folks that helped train me that have since retired, and they've done well by the American people. That is tough.
Even after Musk's departure, a big victory for Musk's Department of Government Efficiency DOGE outfit. A divided U.S. Supreme Court ruled DOGE can continue accessing sensitive information from the U.S. Social Security Administration, even amid a lawsuit seeking to challenge that. For CBS Saturday Morning, Scott McFarland.
Yeah, we're gonna do the JD Vance Gaza thing, but yeah, I'll cover the Zoran situation in a second. So first and foremost, okay. So after the AOC endorsement came down for Zoran Mamdani, our GOAT, okay, our legend, these past couple of days in the New York City mayoral primary race has definitely increased the heat a little bit, increased the tension a little bit, okay, and part of that intensity has come from people saying that Zoran is a vicious anti-Semite. I believe if you want to see the full scope of the hysteria over there in New York. What's that account that I use from the guy that is a journalist at the Forward? I'm forgetting now. I believe like an Orthodox Jewish community in New York basically said, if Zoran becomes mayor, not a single Jew can walk the streets of New York, something along those lines, which is insane. And numerous people coming out and finding Zoran in the streets to be like, why do you not want Israel to be an ethno-state? Oh, here it is. Arno Rosenfeld, ADL Chief Jonathan Greenblatt. Oh, sorry. Jonathan Greenblatt compares student protests to ISIS and Al-Qaeda is fucking psychotic. That's not what I was going to say. Hold on. Where is it? This was what I was looking for. Yeah. Far Rockaway Jewish Alliance, representing a large part of the Orthodox community in Queens, says, Cuomo is no Zaddik, and no one claims he is. But we're not choosing a Rebbe, we're choosing a shield. Choosing not to vote for Cuomo isn't neutrality, it's handing Mamdani a victory. Far Rockaway Jewish Alliance says, vote Cuomo or you won't be able to live as Torah Jews in New York City. Zaddik means saint? Okay, thank you. Incredible. Incredible levels of hysteria. A couple of my normie friends who live in New York were weirded out by that Israel question at the debate. They were being pretty sympathetic and considering voting for him. Yeah, I believe the person who also asked that question, by the way, used to be a staffer for Cuomo or something and has like retweeted some insane things. Retweeted some insane statements about Zoran since that debate. So that's also something to consider. But I think this answer was fairly effective in neutralizing the argument. The constant questions of Israel. Do you believe, what do you think about Israel? Do you believe Israel has a right to exist? Do you believe Israel has a right to exist as a Jewish state? Why won't you say that Israel, why do you keep saying Israel shouldn't be killing children? Like, are you anti-Semitic? These sorts of questions, I think, are cumbersome and bothersome. Evet, yaparsan iki de. These sorts of questions are fucking annoying, okay? It is perfectly valid and perfectly understandable for every American citizen to be like, I don't think Israel should be doing this. you know? Especially because our tax dollars and our full-blown support, political support, puts us in the crosshairs, and whether we like it or not, make us morally culpable, okay? The American government is an active participant in this genocide. They are a belligerent in this genocide, and we are morally culpable, okay? This is a real issue. This is something that I carry with me, a weight that I carry with me, and you should as well every single day. This is why you have to do everything you can in your power to try and put an end to it. Okay? Having said that, however, are you banned tomorrow? Wait, what? Why? Why would I be banned tomorrow? Account created February 19, 2025. Following since February 19, 2025. Are you banned tomorrow? First question in the chat. Yeah, the question, I knew I recognized your name. Melissa DeRosa, former New York governor, Andrew Cuomo and his top aide, Melissa DeRosa, were involved in an emotional romantic relationship during his tenure. DeRosa was married at the time and stood by Cuomo during significant moments. This isn't the actual person. This isn't the, I don't think this is not the actual person who asked that question, but the person who, the moderator retweeted this. The moderator who asked that question retweeted Melissa DeRosa. Melissa Russo is the one who asked the question. Melissa DeRosa posted this, and Melissa Russo is the one who retweeted it. Okay? Yeah, the moderator who decided to change the rules of the lightning round to demand a different answer from Zoran already had a horse in the race, by the way. Melissa Russo is the moderator who asked the question, and she was retweeting Melissa DeRosa, who was not only a staffer, but also a lover of Andrew Cuomo. Okay? The reporter, quote-unquote reporter, who was a moderator, is Melissa Russo. She literally has been reposting this woman who worked with Andrew Cuomo. Her brother and her parents shamed her on Twitter for her insane tweet. Melissa, it's your brother. Mom and dad want you to stop tweeting this stuff like this. It is not who we are. That's awesome. This person follows me. Nice. So that's one aspect of this. And I already told you that this is this I think breeds resentment and animosity because it's such a fucking spectacularly stupid question. It's one that I always yell about, like Israel being this like unique nation state that you have to do a loyalty pledge to become a fucking comptroller in Illinois or whatever. I think is insane. And it makes people more insane when they hear this kind of demand because they don't have the same level of loyalty or the same positive feelings and the same positive association with Israel. So all this does is breed resentment against Israel. And also, depending on how that's crazy. Or depending on how people present Israel, oftentimes partnering Israel with Jews in America, this kind of question also breeds enmity towards Jews, okay? Given that dangerous conflation between Israel and Judaism, Israel and Jews. It is fucking ridiculous. It is also dangerous. There is no equivalent to this, okay? The example I used was Ukraine. America has a stake in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. America has a stake in this. Why are no questions being asked about Ukraine? But there are questions being asked about Israel. And it's not necessarily just whether or not you think what Israel is doing is unconscionable, but beyond that, it's actually how much do you actually offer loyalty to the state of Israel? That's fucking insane. That is an insane question to ask. Oh, you want to be the mayor of New York? Okay. Can you please tell me that you're going to go to Israel? You love the Holy Land?
Would you feel comfortable slicing open your left hand and swearing a blood oath that you will never again criticize the state of Israel? No, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Fuck you. Mr. Cuomo, do you like pizza? I like spaghetti and meatballs and smelling my assistant's hair. Yeah!
Yeah. Ironically drawn, this much attention towards false anti-Semitism will inevitably create anti-Semitic organizations and people. It already is. The overcorrection against Jewish people is going to be very scary. Once support for Israel from the government stops, anti-Semites are going to talk about how much our taxes went to Israel and blame the Jews. 100%. It's already started. It's already happening. It is happening right now. It is already happening. I warn against this all the fucking time, which is why I also find it insane that organizations that are supposed to be tasked with combating anti-Semitism will come after people like myself because they see me as a much larger hurdle. They see me as a much bigger problem than the likes of people who actually are simply criticizing Israel to be anti-Semitic. Organizations that know better. Okay, yes, I'm going to watch the overzealous video about left-wing Zionism, how to sell an ethno-state. Liberal Zionism, left-wing Zionism, and how to sell an ethno-state. We'll talk about that. Speaking of which, okay, going back to the ADL, before we go into Zoran, who also followed up on the ridiculous line of questioning with a really good answer. Here it is.
I did not want to make a definitive statement on this. Do you support Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state?
I support Israel's right to exist as a state with equal rights. I believe that every state...
Why not as a Jewish state?
Because I'm not comfortable supporting any state that has a hierarchy of citizenship on the basis of religion or anything else. I think that in the way that we have in this country, equality should be enshrined in every country in the world. That's my belief.
All right.
The reason why this is fantastic is because it calls into question from a lot of people, like, what the fuck Israel's doing? Because a lot of people, a lot of normies who are watching Good Day New York are probably still somewhat oblivious to all of the inner workings of the Israeli apartheid. Okay? So when he reframes the question around equal rights, a concept that Americans actually respond positively to, associate positively with, it is a perfect parry. Okay? It's an excellent way to reframe the dangerous propaganda. I would even take it one step further if given the opportunity to be like, why do you want me to do a loyalty pledge to an ethno-state? I don't understand. That's currently doing a genocide. As you know, my opinion on this, as you know, the opinion of many international organs of justice and human rights groups and human rights advocacy groups and the United Nations. Like, this is the popular sentiment, the overall popular opinion as well. Why do you demand that I do a loyalty pledge to this ethno-state? It makes no sense. It's ridiculous. In any case, yes, I'm going to talk about the negative reactions from the pro-Palestinian crowd as well towards the likes of Zoran. But another thing that took place in the campaign, the rat fucking that I was talking about, was Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo got endorsed by Jessica Ramos. Jessica Ramos is supposed to be one of the progressives. Jessica Ramos came out and endorsed Andrew Cuomo. Many people are suspecting that the reason why she did that is because her campaign has experienced tremendous financial scrutiny. They don't have any money, and therefore she had this join DSA chat. Thank you for the 100 gifted subs. God damn, DSA's doing ads in the chat. Respect. Yeah, here it is. Jessica Ramos making it clear to reporters that she doesn't think Zoran Mamdani has the experience to be mayor. That's why I'm here. She said she is doing this, obviously, because Cuomo is the number one choice right now. I don't think there's been any new polling since the race took place, and I'm very excited to see what those numbers will look like when they come out. But interestingly enough, she clearly sees Zoran rising in the aftermath of this mayoral race and decided to try and tank the Zoran momentum.
Anything. This is a very sober view of being 1 week away from early voting and understanding that there are two clear people heading the race, and I want to make sure that we have a mayor that understands how government works.
And Mamdani's not that guy.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, freak. How does she sleep at night? Probably on a bed with pillows filled to the brim with dollar bills. So it is, yeah, here. This is one of the reasons, most likely. Breaking: Jessica Ramos' campaign is $250,000 in debt. Crucially, Ramos' campaign owes tens of thousands of dollars to vendors and unpaid contracts that have not been reported to campaign finance regulators, according to 5 people familiar with their finances. Her latest filing showed her campaign had a balance of just $9,000, but that doesn't reflect the actual state of her books, her campaign said. One of those people familiar with her finances told Playbook her campaign is over $250,000 in debt. A large chunk of that is in dispute with a single vendor who has retained a lawyer and is threatening to sue Ramos. A Ramos campaign spokesperson confirmed that not all the outstanding invoices have been reported, a violation of the rules that could result in thousands of dollars in fines, blaming the treasurer's pregnancy complications. We are grateful to our treasurer for her service and support her focusing on her personal health. Any records not filled will be amended in the June 13th filing, the spokesperson said. That's probably one of the reasons. The other reason is, I assume, the most basic one. She potentially thinks that, Andrew Cuomo could win and then give her a comfortable position. Hassan, you really changed my life in regards to Israel. Most of my teenage years I was pro-Israel because I was genuinely thought about it and accepted what I was told. Now I'm in my late 20s. When I started listening to you, you changed my perspective completely, and now I'm staunchly pro-Palestine. I had never seen someone show their perspective and what Israel was actually doing. Thank you for what you do, and it makes a difference. Hell yeah, chatter. Thank you for being open-minded. Nothing says more about Jessica Ramos and her fragile ego and her slimy motivations than her being butthurt that AOC didn't text her back during January 6th. I wouldn't know. I texted her on January 6th, and I hope she's okay, and never even heard back. She doesn't meet with local elected officials. That's what she said, which is not true. She does meet with local elected officials, but I guess Jessica Ramos personally had a gripe with AOC and some old fucking drama. Now, what makes this heel turn from Jessica Ramos incredibly indecent is here's a compilation, okay, from Chi Ase, friend of the show, Hasanabi head, one of the most brolic New York City Council members out there, if not the most brolic. You've seen his squatting videos. There was a thread. Wait, what? Did he delete the thread? Where's the thread? Or no, this isn't the thread. Do you guys have the thread that she posted? Let me see if I can find it real quick. But this heel turn from Jessica Ramos is extra funny because of all the times that Ramos presented herself in opposition to Andrew Cuomo while using language that I think was appropriate to use, as a matter of fact. Here it is. She says, I know people have beef with Jessica Ramos for personal reasons, but her and I have always had a fine, friendly working relationship. I've always respected her for the work she's done for our city and state. To see her throw all of her values away and betray the New Yorkers she's been fighting for is heartbreaking and disgusting. Hurt by this one. Hard pass on Andrew from Jessica Ramos on March 1st. Thank you, Andrew, for finally launching your vanity comeback tour. Now we can go back to discussing the issues that matter to New Yorkers, like fixing the housing crisis you stoked, cleaning the streets you ignored, and making New York City affordable for working families once again. If New Yorkers want a corrupt bully with a record of alleged sexual misconduct, supporting Republicans, selling out to developers, and exacerbating crises, they can just stick with the current mayor. Andrew brings nothing to this race but baggage and an outstanding debt of $5 million. Hard pass. But if Andrew wants a tour around the city, please don't hesitate to call. A lot has changed in the 25 years that he's last lived here. On March 23rd, Jessica Ramos. People may want to be courteous to Cuomo's face, but they don't forget. What the hell was that? But they don't forget the people he sent to die, the women he touched, or the people he left in our streets needing mental health care and housing. On October 26, 2024, Jessica Ramos says, I won't let Andrew Cuomo rewrite history. I remember, if he played a key role in landmark legislation, it almost always involved blocking, gutting, and carving out loopholes for allies and donors. His achievements came from the efforts of activists, unions, and lawmakers. May 7th, Jessica Ramos tweets, great to be mentioned by Era Lewis on this piece. Speaking of Andrew Cuomo on The Intelligencer, Jessica Ramos says, he touts a 40-year career in tackling this crisis. And yet there is today more homelessness in New York than we have ever had before, State Senator Jessica Ramos told me. So I'm here to say there is such a thing as the wrong experience. Yes, you could have been wrong for 40 years. You could have had the wrong priorities for 40 years. You could have had the wrong approach for 40 years. And it's time for there to be a new era of leadership. On December 19th, 2024, Jessica Ramos says, Andrew Cuomo remains the same remorseless bully who sexually harassed all those women, covered up the deaths of all those grandparents, and didn't sell all those books. Here's Jessica Ramos sending out an email on 5/15/2025. Cuomo is the Democratic Party's Trump, full stop. And it goes on and on and on, because obviously, as a progressive, as a progressive state senator who was running for mayor in New York, of course she understandably talked about all of the major issues that Andrew Cuomo had if he were to actually become the next mayor, this would be a genuine problem for New York. Yeah, basically, this is right. Hello, I am Jessica Ramos, and I am endorsing child rapist Mega Hitler. And those are my words. I stand by them, and I like them. I like those words because the alternative is very scary, which is a guy who wants to freeze rent. I am endorsing Andrew Cuomo, who I have called a rapist and a racist and a Trump-style individual, a grandfather annihilator. All of these things are true, by the way. I am endorsing this person because I think the alternative is someone who doesn't have the experience of doing those things. And I think New York City needs a guy who will kill more of the grandparents. Okay? Incredible. Endorsements like this one only prove that a lot of politicians, even those with mediocrely okay politics, are desperate socialites who get resentful when people with a lot of overlap to their positions outshine them. Pathetic as fuck. Absolutely. So yeah, I think this is a tremendously bad career move for her.
Coming out and sharing very personal details of what happens to us as women takes tremendous courage. This today is not about forgiveness or about forgetting anything. This is a very sober take on where we are in this race and the type of leadership that is required at a time.
Yeah, we need a guy who is going to do more sexual assaults. Okay? The reason why I, Jessica Ramos, a woman who cares about other women and their horrible experience with Andrew Cuomo, the reason why I'm endorsing the man who I've said is an alleged sexual assaulter and sexual harasser is because Mamdani doesn't do that. And I think New York needs a guy like that. New York needs a guy who's going to sexually assault people as mayor. Incredible. Yeah. People are laughing at Jessica Ramos now, rightly, but she's not endorsing Cuomo to help her mayoral chances. She's doing it out of spite for further left political figures to curry favor with more evil donors and to enhance her job opportunities after she leaves office. Abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely, that is what's going on. She's going to be another, like, Bakari Sellers type. It was Bakari Sellers, right? The one that was, like, supposed to be progressive. Or Richie Torres. A lot of these guys come in on a wave of, like, progressive momentum, and then they turn around and try to rat fuck as many progressives as possible in a way to win favor with wealthy donors and you know, make a media career for themselves or recognize that this is the best possible path for them once they're outshined by another progressive that actually abides by those principles better and can more effectively communicate a progressive message. Shouts out to Brad Lander for not doing that, by the way, at least so far, you know. But yeah, that rat fucking is taking place. Meanwhile, AOC said, lol, Lamau, after Cuomo came out and said, she is endorsing me, I am not endorsing her. That's what Andrew Cuomo said of the Jessica Ramos endorsement. He turned around and said, I'm not endorsing her. She's endorsing me. Now, on the trail in New York, where Zoran Mamdani is holding an event with Zephyr Teachout and Lena Khan. Zoran repeats the statement that he made at the debate. He says, we need a mayor that doesn't have to pick up the phone from Bill Ackman when he calls. But of course, because I'm sorry, you know, some of these guys are in my community as well. We have some heated fans. Tensions rise from time to time. Wait, where is the fucking Aaron Mate tweet that I was going to pull up? You know, people start yelling at Zoran and act as though he is actually in opposition to the Palestinian emancipatory movement rather than the most sympathetic politician out there. Okay? Aaron Mate says, I think Mamdani gave a pretty smart answer. I support Israel's right to exist with equal rights for all of its citizens. This highlights the fact that Israel is a supremacist state and that its supporters, including his rivals, oppose equal rights for all. I think it's self-defeating to confront him over that. Incredible stuff. Oh yeah, we have the more perfect union video that I want to watch as well. This one is a banger. Also, this moment happened right after, if you didn't see it already. A Palestinian woman stands up and says to this protester, I'm Palestinian, don't speak on behalf of Palestinians and please leave. And this protester starts screaming at her and speaking over her in response. Incredible stuff. Now, I don't think these people are like mentally ill or whatever, okay? It's a fucking genocide. And I think the appropriate thing to do, even when someone is behaving as though they are a wrecker in this process, is to offer sympathy, okay? It is to offer sympathy to people who are even criticizing you, a stalwart, an actual stalwart ally of Palestinians. People do it to me too. People yell at me sometimes, okay? Mamdani co-founded a chapter of Students for Justice of Palestine at Bowdoin College. He advocates for equal rights for all in Israel and Palestine, supports BDS, opposes U.S. military aid to Israel, and rejects Israel's identity as a Jewish state, prioritizing equal rights over the racial, religious, and ethnic supremacy practiced under the current system. Okay? The notion that like he is in opposition to the Palestinian emancipatory movement is ridiculous. Okay? It's ridiculous. But you still have to keep composure and be sympathetic to people like this because it is a fucking genocide at the end of the day. And therefore, given that it's a genocide at the end of the day, victims of said genocide are understandably going to be very angry at every single person that they think are not sufficiently aligned with their cause. You cannot always expect people to behave in a rational manner in protest. You cannot expect people to behave in a rational manner in protest against you, even if you are literally the most sympathetic to the Palestinian cause. It is what it is. It's going to happen. You're running for mayor, and I think Zoran does a pretty decent job of keeping his composure. What should not happen in this process is to turn around and foster resentment or to dunk on these people and say, oh, look how silly these guys are. We are actually, what do you call it? We are, I am so much more reasonable than these guys are. Like, to position yourself as like the reasonable one by like dunking on these people is not the appropriate direction. Some people entertain that. Some people jump into that. Some people love doing that. Okay. And I think it's a fucked up thing to do. It is not an appropriate thing to do. And I don't think Zoran is doing that, which is good.
But you know what makes them different? They side with your pride. You praise them. You cannot be touching me as a Muslim woman.
Ma'am.
Get off of me. You, right now, for ripping off my hijab, and so is another hijab. You have not condemned that shit at all. We have continued to be brutalized and protesting against genocide every single fucking day, protesting against graduations, and you still haven't said shit. But you will condemn direct actions against Zionist settlers. Have some damn shame. How do you pray every single day to Allah?
You made your point. Let him answer. The first
I'm
point.
dying. You don't let him answer. You are fucking dying. I don't care for his answer. Let him respond. What's your answer? What's your answer?
I'm glad that you're on your answer. I understand what you were saying. I understand the immense concern on this question. It is horrific what we are talking about. What I have said during the debate, what I have said time and time again, I know it's not something at a point of agreement.
I don't think that person is an agent provocateur or a Fed, okay? Yes, she's yelling at Zoran, and another person did it too, okay? Honestly, I'm okay with using this to paint Zoran's position as a moderate, reasonable one. No, I don't think you should do that either, okay? You have to understand, I don't know this person's background, okay? I don't know that person's background. I don't know if they're Palestinian. I don't know if they've had family members that have died, or maybe they didn't, okay? But regardless, you're like misguided anger in this process. It happens, you know? It happens. Demanding that like she take that anger and resentment and redirect it to a more appropriate vector that deserves the scorn and scrutiny in that moment is, it's not going to happen. What do you do in this situation? I mean, I've encountered this situation in the past. You try to have a normal conversation. You try to be like, listen, I hear you. I totally understand why you're angry. Every single one of us has Every single one of us has a role to play in this, and I'm trying to do what's best. I'm trying to do what's right. You might not agree with my tactics. You might not agree with what I have to say, but you should know that I am uncompromisingly in favor of truth and justice and the Palestinian emancipatory movement. Hassan, if you can't maintain your composure at a town hall when you have the mic, you shouldn't be the one who's handed the mic. If you're a leftist who cares about a movement and policy, you do the responsible thing and you have someone with a cooler head speak for you. I mean, she's angry. Zoran is a representative for her. I think that it's, this kind of stuff is going to happen. You're a politician. You're a politician that's running a campaign, that's running for mayor. It's not optically the best situation. It's not optically the best scenario. Do I think it's warranted to yell at Zoran in this process? No, but it doesn't fucking matter. My point is you have to be above that. Like, just now, at a discussion, Zoran Mamdani gets interrupted and questioned by a protest saying Israel has a right to exist for her endorsement for amnesty. A Palestinian from the crowd gets up and defends them, a very telling moment.
Continue to be brutalized and protesting against genocide every single fucking day, protesting against graduations, and you still haven't said shit, but you will condemn direct actions against Zionist settlers. Have some damn shame. How do you pray every single day?
Zoran, why won't you call for the assassination of Israeli diplomats while running for mayor of New York as a Muslim socialist, please? Have some shame, please. What happens if Twitch bans political content? What will you do then for an occupation? What do you mean? I'll just fucking do it on YouTube. What? Why? How about you worry about yourself, okay? You worry about your own career, big dog. Like, motherfuckers will come in here and be like, ha, you're cooked now. Twitch is going to ban political content. It's like, dude, why don't you worry about your own job and I'll worry about my own future prospects? You know what I mean? Stop pocket watching.
How do you pray those 5 prayers and what do you ask for him? There is a genocide happening and yet you say that I'm going to take a moment. People are fucking dying. I don't care.
I was at this event. There were 3 protests in total, and they brought a videographer. They said they didn't care when a Palestinian woman in the audience said Zoran was pro-Palestine and important in the city. Yeah, I mean, don't they get mad at you because you're rich? Why would they think that that would upset you? I don't know.
I'm glad that you want to hear my answer.
Yeah, why won't you change your party affiliation from Democrats to the Hamas party, Zoran? 100% a Latimer Bowman style infiltrator. Come on. I think that he's doing a decent job. I mean, he's doing a great job handling it with grace. That's what you got to do. That's the best thing you can do. Why do they think he isn't pro-Palestine? Like, I know he is, but what's the criticism? They're saying he's not sufficiently pro-Palestine. Okay? They're saying he is insufficiently pro-Palestine. You have to understand something. Okay? Even if that person is unironically there to disrupt, even if that person there is unironically a wrecker, right? The whole purpose of wreckers is the whole purpose of wreckers is to come across as though they are just like normal. It's the just curious Andes of real world politics. Okay. The just curious Andes of real world politics is the wreckers in this situation. And just like the just curious Andes come in here and fucking be annoying, but present themselves as simply asking normal questions, you sometimes have to take it. You sometimes have to take it with grace, regardless, especially when you're running for political office. Okay? That's it.
No, I just want to be very sincere. I understand what you were saying. I understand the immense concern on this question. It is horrific what we are talking about. What I have said during the debate, I have spoken about my belief in every state's right to exist and its obligation to follow international law. And I have said that I recognize the right of a state to exist for a specific religion, that I am someone who believes in every right of the state to exist for equal rights, is that when we're speaking about Israel, and we're speaking about Palestine, Israel has been in violation of those international laws for the last 18 months and beyond. And what I am calling for is the full compliance with international laws. I am proud to continue calling for that because at the core of this politics around corporate power, of international human rights, is the necessity of consistency. I am not going to budge on any of these principles. I've been consistent in them.
But yeah, when you say that Israel has a right to exist, 20 months into a genocide, you crossed that line 3 times already. And then you praise AOC, who funded the Iron Dome.
I am proud to have been endorsed. I do think, however, to call into question how I can consider myself Muslim is a step too far. And I would say that I appreciate your attendance, I appreciate the concern, and this is something that I would like to continue our conversation on corporate power, ensure that everyone here has a chance to ask questions.
Pretty good job. I mean, she's not even wrong. She has a right to be angry. I know, chatters. Okay, if you're going to fucking sit here and entertain her line of questioning, then I'm sorry, but, you know, we are not Zoran, or we are not that person. This is optically fucking stupid, okay? If you want my honest assessment, optically it's fucking stupid, okay? It's so stupid. It's unimaginably fucking stupid. You have never even had any candidate that is remotely as on board with a tremendous amount of experience and pedigree in pro-Palestinian advocacy at a position as powerful as this, running up against the guy who is on the fucking legal team of Israel. Andrew Cuomo has petitioned to be on the legal defense of Israel. Shut the fuck up. Okay, you on the outside don't have to fucking hand it to people who are behaving like wreckers. I'm saying that it is understandable for someone to be angry and resentful, and even if it's like optically not sound, even if they're fucking wreckers, Zoran has a responsibility as someone running for office. How is this different than liberals telling you not to protest Kamala? I'm going to fucking get on a rocket ship to Mars and hopefully perish in the process. How is this different than Kamala Harris? Are you fucking stupid? Kamala Harris was a part of an administration that was doing a fucking genocide, who was running for office, and in the process of running for president, she refused to sidestep from the Biden administration's positions on the continuation of the genocide. If you think Kamala Harris and Zoran Mamdani are coming at it from the same framework, you are fucking stupid. You are the dumbest person on the fucking planet. You are literally dumber than an inbred hog that is an anti-vaxxer. Okay? I'm sorry. That is the stupidest fucking comparison I could ever encounter. Holy shit. God damn, dude. That is like, that unironically is the cartoonish depiction that liberals and right-wing reactionaries present the left as. You are that cartoon. Why are leftists so fucking ready to be like, no, I am that guy. I am the fucking joyless woke scold. I am the dumbest person you've actually ever met. What the fuck? Yeah. Every year, charities registered in New York State send 60 million tax-deductible donations to aid and abet Israeli settler violence. Today, we're launching legislation to ban that. May 16th, 2023. No, Bill de Blasio, this is my fault. I forgot the part where to be the mayor of New York, one must be a defender of Israel. January 25th, 2014. Yesterday, we ended our 5-day hunger strike the way we had ended each day of the week, by reading the names of some 15,207 Palestinians killed over the last 2 months. There was a 5-year-old girl whose first name was my mother's and second name was my father's. If you think Zoran is not sufficiently pro-Palestine, no one is sufficiently pro-Palestine. You want him to strap himself on a fucking on a cruise missile and launch himself into Tel Aviv. That's what you want, I guess. A person like this is like, the only thing he hasn't done is like direct acts of violence against the state at that point. Why are you not strapping yourself? Why are you not flying to Sanaa, the capital of Yemen, and strapping yourself on a Shahed missile and launching yourself directly at Tel Aviv? Why are you, a person running for mayor in New York City, not openly wearing an Al-Qassam Brigades flag and calling for random spontaneous acts of violence against synagogues. Like not just like Israeli envoys, but just like, why aren't you anti-Semitic? Why aren't you advocating for anti-Semitism or some shit? Okay, what the fuck? She never said that. Shut the fuck up, dumbass. I'm obviously exaggerating. Don't be like this. It's always, dude, it's always coming from dumb fuck anonymous people usually who go, oh, dude, if I was in that position, I would be fucking doing that. No, you wouldn't. And you wouldn't be in that position anyway. And no, I don't think this person is a wrecker coming from the Cuomo side, because this type of shit could so effectively show how moderate Zoran's position is to the average onlooker. Also, she did literally say, why aren't you calling for the deaths of military officials? Meanwhile, public relations at Chabad Lubavitch, founder of the Jewish Future Alliance, saying, let's call him out for what he is, an anti-Semite. It's frightening and shocking that he has this much support. This isn't about politics. It's about the safety of Jews in New York.
They show up to Israel Day parades and they say we stand in solidarity. We want to let them know that there are 3 letters that we have as an answer to what is happening in Palestine. And it's BDS. 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 We're taking paid-for trips to Israel. They are going there paid for by your tax dollars. They show up to Israel Day parades and they say we stand in solidarity. We want to let them know.
Obviously, this guy's fucking excited at the prospect of Palestinian children dying, right? Anyway, in the longer video, you see a Palestinian, I think, stand up and say, "I'm Palestinian. You've made your side be known. Please stop talking." BDS is boycott, divestments, and sanctions. I can't believe there's still people in this chat that don't know what the fuck BDS is. Anyway, Aaron Mate says, "I think Mamdani gave a pretty smart answer. I support Israel's right to exist with equal rights for all its citizens. This highlights the fact that Israel is a supremacist state and that its supporters, including his rivals, oppose equal rights for all. I think it's self-defeating to confront him over that. It is. Having said that, however, you always have to maintain grace and charity, especially considering that there's a lot of eyeballs on this shit. And not only that, but also it is a genocide. If you believe it's a genocide, then yes, tensions are going to run hot amongst people who are victims, people who have immediate connections and immediate family members that have been victim to Israel's genocide. Why cover this when your city is currently at war with ICE, big dog? I don't know, because I spent the first 2 hours of the broadcast covering just that, and there are other news stories that are happening as well. Is that okay? Why do you think you're my producer? Anyway, all right. JD Vance was interviewed by Theo Vaughn, and there were a couple really good clips that came out of it. Controversial opinion here that's going to piss off a lot of people is that this kind of chummy rapport, this kind of back and forth coming from Theo Vaughn creates more potentially valuable journalism that could come afterwards than a million different pre-canned responses that you hear from the likes of JD Vance from talking to Dana Fash on CNN. He quite literally is, if you listen to the way he's navigating through this conversation, like, yeah, he glazes Trump for sure. And he even glazes JD Vance. He's not attacking him. But in the process, he's disarming him and asking him some fairly fucking valid questions about, I mean, from a dumb guy's perspective, for sure. But like, he literally asked, like, so what do you think is the alternative? You think Elon wanted something out of him? The way that a normal media person would ask this question to JD Vance in a super contentious environment would be, was there quid pro quo happening between the president and Elon Musk? That is what he's asking him. But he's asking him this question in a way where it's like, we're just bros. Like he's doing it in a charming and disarming way. And there's more to it. The reason why I'm saying that is because I think it's interesting because there's the Israel side. The negative side of this, the negative consequence of this, however, is that you end up I'm not going to say he's platforming JD Vance because, like, that's the vice president, okay? But he is humanizing JD Vance. And the vice president is not human, especially JD Vance. That is the negative consequence of that. I would never be like, he's platforming the vice president. No, the vice president is platforming Theo Vaughn. It doesn't work that way.
He's tweeted like 300 times.
Oh, sorry. Never mind. Okay. Then so it's just a
lot
regular
of tweets today.
Are you saying that Theo is in fact a genius pretending to be an idiot to obtain more info? I want to say he's a genius, but I definitely do think he plays up the dumb guy aesthetic. But I think he's a very good conversationalist. Like, he is the worst thing I can say about this is that now it is officially the exact same as CNN. And maybe even worse because CNN doesn't at least like directly chummy up and cozy up the JD Vance and humanize JD Vance. But the neutrality and asking a question and then, you know, just taking in whatever fucking answer the vice president gives is exactly what you see in mainstream news. Like, then it turns into like uncritical glazing. I don't think that Theo Vaughn is equipped enough to fucking handle the counter narratives that JD Vance is pushing here by being like, oh no, it's just like they sold a lot of they actually cut spending. Doge was so successful, it cut spending by fucking billions. Bullshit. That's bullshit. But Theo Vaughn doesn't know it's bullshit. But the reality is, CNN would not also turn around and say, what I find really interesting about this is, and we're going to talk about it here. I tweeted about it as well. What I find really interesting about this is that, like, Theo Vaughn has let his position be known that he believes that there's a genocide going on and we have to put an end to it, right? And obviously, as someone who believes this, he also chooses to ask this question directly to JD Vance. Now, what's interesting about it is, and I tweeted this earlier, I said, a lot of people ask me what the Democrats get wrong about their independent media strategy. There are a million issues beyond messaging, but on the media front, a Democrat would never entertain having this conversation with someone like myself. Like, the notion that the vice president at the time, Kamala Harris, would come on my show while the Democrats were conducting a fucking genocidal campaign in Gaza as a belligerent, and then to have a conversation, have a back and forth like this on those grounds is unthinkable. No, that would never happen. You see what I'm saying? That would never happen. So I always wonder, it's like, what is it that these guys, the Republicans, like, they just don't care? I guess they do not give a shit. You know what I mean? They do not care. They will go on a show where someone will tell them to their face, like, hey, there's a genocide going on. To be fair, Theo is not you. He's obviously not an aggressive advocate for Palestine. No, he is. Brother, for as big of a fucking platform that he has, are you kidding me? Listen, if it's impactful when Joe Rogan decides he is anti-trans women in sports, okay? And we have an issue with that because of how impactful that is. You have to do that when someone with a platform that's closely resembling Joe Rogan's is fucking unconditionally pro-Palestine. I'm sorry. You don't get to have it both ways. You can't on the one hand say Joe Rogan is so impactful when he's doing reactionary politics and then turn around and be like, and Theo Vaughn is not impactful at all when he's saying that, like, there's a genocide going on in Gaza. It doesn't work that way. It's either they're both incredibly and immensely impactful in political discourse, which I think they are. Horrible take, to be honest, King. This is simply incorrect. You're right. He should not be. Dude, you were talking about a guy who fucking had not only Bernie Sanders, but Gabor Mate on his broadcast. Okay? Hassan is right, chat. We must never doubt our prophet. Exactly. Never doubt your prophet. Aggressive advocacy is insane coping glaze. Aggressive in comparison to a media ecosystem that rarely ever has motherfuckers saying that there is a genocide going on at that level of prominence. Not aggressive in comparison to your Discord circuit, okay? Not aggressive in comparison to what you see from someone like myself. Yes, I know if all you see as far as if all you see as far as like pro-Palestinian advocacy is members of your Discord server and the federal agents that are also tuning you up in the Discord server and the Discord moderators that you're inside of your splinter Discord circle that is looking for any opportunity to get feet pics, you know, those guys are real radicals. I'll show you what a real radical looks like. You know, we make memes. We make radical memes in our Discord splinter server. You know, I know. That's great, man. But we're talking about a dude who's like a fairly fucking prominent media personality.
And on like the Gaza thing, just sort of, you know, chat about that for a little bit.
Never back down and only message what you believe clearly. That way you can show other leftists how much more left you are than them. Yeah. No, I always do that. I'm leftier than everybody else.
The whole...
Just so you know, nobody... Wait, what? Whoa. What did this guy say? Just so you know, no one calls for the death of gay people and the subjugation of women than your heroes. You are a pretend progressive, says Doom Cow Cock. Not cock for like Kahan, right? There's no way. That just happens to be. Like, this is not a Kahanist. I'm more left than you, Hasanabi? No, this person's not a leftist. He's fucking concern trolling. He's a virtue signaling, chatter. He does not give a single fuck about this. Are you stupid? First of all, it's a classic take from dickheads who are like, oh, this is really bad for your cause. A person who does not give a fuck about your cause and is actually standing in opposition towards your cause. Secondly, the idea that this is a good gotcha is so idiotic because there is no pink washing an ethnic cleansing campaign, because an ethnic cleansing campaign kills more gay people and more women than any kind of hypothetical subjugation of women and gay people that you are ascribing. Okay? Yeah, Doom Cow Cock feels like he's this could literally be like a Nazi who knows a lot about Kahana's movements and is like talking about the red heifer, or who knows? Could be a Nazi making fun of Kahana's. See, also the irony is, in terms of fucking subjugation of women and subjugation of gay people, one, Israeli society not so fond of women or gay people either. Two, the Israeli government is actively killing women and gay people in Gaza right now and in the West Bank too. And three, the Israeli government has officially announced their partnership, officially announced their partnership with ISIS affiliate groups in an effort to actually create chaos at the point of aid distribution in Gaza. And if you know anything about ISIS, they are far worse in terms of their analysis of what to do with women and subjugating women and gay people. And last but not least, all of the Gulf nations in the region that you never seem to raise concern about, because they are pro-Israel, are actively doing worse things in terms of subjugation, and they're not even under fire. So the idea that like one party is worse for gay people and women over the other, and therefore it's actually appropriate to genocide the entire fucking population, is already a stupid one. But having said that, it's not like the other party is good for women or gay people either. You don't care about this. You don't care about this issue at all. You just thought this was a quick gotcha. Ethan Klein is criticizing Hassan Piker by sharing a statement from the fake Israeli aid agency Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Come get your freedom fighters. There ain't no fucking way he posted a Gaza Humanitarian Foundation post thinking that it was just like an actual Palestinian group. Is he this fucking stupid? The answer is yes. Okay? The answer is yes. He might be that fucking stupid. I think he saw the name Gaza, okay, and he thought this was a Palestinian group criticizing Hamas, and he ate the bait. By the way, this is, if you are wondering why the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is an American fake aid agency that is in direct violation of human rights and direct violation of humanitarian law, an Israeli and American aid agency, as a matter of fact, a fake agency that actually weaponizes aid and has, for the past week, shot at and killed numerous fucking Palestinians that are desperately trying to get food in this aid trap that they have designed. If you're wondering why it's called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, it is for the dumbest person you know, Ethan Klein in this circumstance, the absolute stupidest person you've ever encountered in your entire life. Worst stream in a while. What? Why? We can unban this person. Yeah, this new Holocaust defender, Ethan Klein here, defender of the live stream child Holocaust that is unfolding. It's the dumbest guy you know that will go, oh, it says Gaza on it. It's probably a Palestinian charity. That's it. That's the reason why he posted it. And that's precisely the reason why these guys basically named themselves Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Now, of course, ironically enough, not only, no, he most likely knows. No, I think he's actually dumber than you think. He is actually dumber than you think. I think he saw Gaza Humanitarian and thought, oh, this is like a Palestinian charity calling out Hamas. I genuinely think so. Is he malicious? Yes. Absolutely. Now, ironically enough, not only is the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation using aid as a method of further starving the Palestinians and to trap them and to kill them, as it is owned and operated by belligerent occupiers, it has been routinely criticized by every international human rights organization that already exists in the Gaza Strip, that wants to operate within the Gaza Strip, that are being denied operations from the Israeli government. But also, the aid that is being looted or disrupted at the point of delivery is being disrupted by Israeli-backed ISIS affiliate gangs in the region. He knows in being evil and not stupid. No, he's stupid. He's evil, but he's also stupid. I think you guys genuinely are thinking that he's doing this in a malicious manner. Yes, it is malicious.
Right now, it
is certainly malicious. But the reason why he used the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation and the release that they put out there, the statement that they put out there, is because he's a dumb fuck, an actual moron, an actual Dave Rubin style moron. Think Dave Rubin. We have evil stupid. Exactly. Like as dumb as Dave Rubin himself, that he saw Gaza, he saw humanitarian and thought, oh, this is another Palestinian group that's like shitting on Hamas. I'm going to use this now. Anyway, we're moving on and getting back to JD Vance, defending this administration doing a genocide.
It's why he cares about solving this problem, because the longer this goes on, the more suffering, the more death. So we're trying to solve it as much as we can.
Thank you for liking and reposting my TikTok. I just started my fan channel on TikTok and YouTube, and your repost doing wonder for my account. Hell yeah. Fuck out of here. He is not motherfucker, he is not preventing the killing at all. JD Vance worried about the optics of not being pro-Israel enough. Yeah, but even this conversation that he's having, think about how different this conversation is than where a conversation like this would take place a year and a half ago. Like, he has to literally massage the idea that, oh, they want to stop an end. They want to put an end to this fucking killing. We see how bad it is. Like, I never in my life thought the fucking Republicans would be lying in the same way that the Biden admin is lying. Like, think about it. The Republicans are trying to act like they're also pro-Palestine too. That's crazy. Under normal circumstances, a year ago, 2 years ago, Republicans would be sitting there being like, what do you mean? They're fucking dogs. Like, they're rapist, barbaric, monstrous terrorists. They all need to be cleansed from the land. Hello? Israel is the most moral democracy on the planet. Excuse me, M Israel high. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, now he's gotten to, we've worked tirelessly. We're working tirelessly around the clock for a ceasefire. That's where he's at.
It's just like when I talk about this is a father, he lost one of his.
Yeah, fuck Steve Witkoff. He is a fucking liar. Also, it's not Steve Witkoff. It's Donald Trump. It's JD Vance. The reality of the matter is Steve Witkoff is simply an envoy, okay? He doesn't make decisions on his own. He's just simply conveying the decisions that Donald Trump has made. You've been called out.
That Hassan Piker secretly loves Trump Yowie. Here, just look. And that he knew that he fell in love with. And if Elon...
Okay, I'm done.
Now, I know how this looks, but you have to trust me. I have an eye for these things. If you look really closely, you can see deep down in his heart of hearts, he agrees. Deep down, he yearns to know more about the Trump Yowie lore. Why do you think he stopped the video as soon as I started talking about Elon's love? He wanted to be able to enjoy it in his free time without chat looking over his shoulder and bullying him. It's okay, Hassan. We see you and we accept you.
Is this true? Yeah, I've been caught. It's true. I've been jorking my peanuts The Trump Yowie with Elon. Trump, Elon, Yowie. I condone and disavow. You mean you condemn? You condone it? I officially clocked you, King. It's very sad, man. Is it, dude? Well, you're something of a human, right? Like, you're kind of like a human. Oh, it's very sad. Also, here's Hamas's changing attitude towards Steve Witkoff. Hamas demands within these ceasefire agreements are not outside the remit of international law. The full withdrawal of Israeli forces. Here it is.
The finger pointing was mostly on Hamas, largely because of the spokespeople that we heard speaking to it. Steve Witkoff, the main negotiator from the U.S., who essentially framed it that way, saying Israel agreed to this, Hamas said no and changed the terms. It is true that Hamas said no to the deal because it was a deal that made more on Israel's terms than through a process that would lead to an end of the war.
Hamas's demands within these ceasefire agreements are not outside the remits of international law. The full withdrawal of Israeli forces, allowing for the uninhibited entry of aid into Gaza, and a permanent cessation of hostilities. Yet, for some reason, Western media insist on presenting these as unreasonable, illegitimate demands. How this narrative has been able to persist as long as it has is completely unfathomable.
Latest round, I think the finger pointing was mostly on Hamas.
Witkoff certainly contributed to reinforcing this negative portrayal. We spoke to him in the last round of these negotiations and agreed on a plan to end this war. He said our talks were positive and constructive, but when he spoke to the Israeli side, he came back with another proposal, saying it was the only one available. So this is the second time, or even third, that Witkoff agrees with us on something and then makes a U-turn.
Yeah, he went from goat cough to throat cough, okay, as one chatter correctly pointed out. And he is the Antonio Blinken of this admin, and Donald Trump is the Brandon of this admin. The Brandonization is complete. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen. The Brandonization of this administration is complete. On this issue, they are not even a little bit different. They are not even a little bit different than the Brandonian admin. Red lines, unenforced. Yes, if you give us Eden Alexander, we'll allow Aiden, unenforced. They have all the power in this process. They could tell Israel to fuck off tomorrow. They could tell Israel to fuck off yesterday. They are not doing that. And the reason for why they're not doing that is because they like that Israel is doing this. It is a part of American foreign policy, which is uniparty. Okay? It is uniparty. That's it. That's it.
This prejudice towards Hamas and the Palestinians is reflected in the American and international media because his voice carries weight. Witkoff certainly contributed to reinforcing this negative portrayal. We spoke to him in the last round of these negotiations and agreed on a plan to end this war.
Sorry, hold on. Oh, we just watched the whole thing. Yeah, this is we're working tirelessly and ceaselessly around the clock for a ceasefire moment from the admin. We are responsible for what our taxpayer dollars do. Is beyond that. Like, you're talking about us as American citizens, and you're right about that. But these guys are active participants. Remember, they are the American admin. Just like the previous American admin that came before this one, they are directly responsible for this genocide. They are an active participant, an active belligerent in this ethnic cleansing campaign.
Dude, the Russia-Ukraine thing is the most vicious.
Yeah, he just like fucking moves on. Ugh, gross. He just moves on to Russia-Ukraine. Yeah. At least Theo Vaughn brought up the issue, but he's also not equipped to knowledgeably push back on Vance's obfuscation, which is a perk of appearing on these casual conversation podcasts. Yeah. That's the other side of this story, which is that Theo Vaughn is not going to be able to fucking respond to this and be like, well, how do you say that when isn't that exactly what the previous administration said? You know what I mean? Or even with Ukraine, a knowledgeable person in the situation would then turn around and be like, okay, you think there's immense harm being done. Russia invaded Ukraine. How do you turn around and justify saying to the leader of a nation that has been invaded, that is our proxy in this conflict, that they haven't been thankful enough? Like, how is that solving issue? How is that actually a matter of diplomacy? How is that the diplomatic approach undermining our proxy that one could even argue we have pushed into taking and making choices that perhaps were not favorable for their long-term standing? Anyway, but I'm glad that comments weren't eating what they were saying. Bro, this is highly suspicious. They're doing crazy PR work to erase the situation. You should have asked Vance why the Epstein's list isn't out. Like, even what the Cash Patel was on Rogan today simultaneously. They got JD to be ready with the PR campaign in front of the mic. The Epstein list stuff is such catnip for the hogs. The Cash Patel conversation with Joe Rogan, I think, did more damage to the admin than it actually helped the admin. And it's like it's perfect. It's a perfect fuck up for them. Like what Elon threw out there was nothing new, right? But he associated the administration's refusal in releasing the Epstein files with the administration's culpability, like directly claiming that Donald Trump, their cult leader, is involved with Epstein, which now adds tremendous pressure. I know you're talking about this right now, but are you talking about the LA ICE protest going on right now, or until it passes? I just saw this one and wondered. I talked about it for the first 2 hours of this broadcast. Today it's Saturday. We are going to be moving on to Girly Pop Nation related things right now. I will go back to my regular coverage after. I know it sounds frustrating, and it is frustrating for all of you when I don't immediately dive into breaking news coverage, especially when it's something in my backyard, but I have covered it for the first 2 hours of this broadcast. Okay? If you want to hear my thoughts on it, go back to the beginning of the VOD. I think the Israel stuff certainly is the Israel stuff, and even like the administration's refusal to release after actively fanning the flames of conspiratorial people, to not lean into, after making claims that they were going to release the Epstein files, to refuse to release the Epstein files beyond what was already released, what the public already knew about, is one of those like weird points of division that you wouldn't expect, maybe, that actually is quite consequential for a lot of radicalized individuals within the base. Interestingly enough, what the fuck? Jeffrey Epstein's former attorney Alan Dershowitz is now urging President Trump to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? No shot.
Kind of killings that we're going to
what?
Not to foment and incentivize the kind of killings that we're going to see, and it's going to get worse. I have to go now and get security guards. I have been told by law enforcement officials that I am not safe because I am a highly visible pro-Israel supporter, and I have a target on my back, as do many other pro-Israel.
This video doesn't say that at all. What are these guys saying? This video does not say that at all. What is wrong with people? What the fuck? Do people just not watch the clips and then they just like repost? What is going on? Epstein lawyer responds to Elon Musk claim Trump is named in the files as Ghislaine Maxwell pins her hopes on a presidential pardon. I was hired to lead Jeffrey Epstein's defense as criminal lawyer 9 days before he died. He sought my advice months before that. I can say authoritatively, unequivocally, and definitively he had no information to hurt President Trump. I specifically asked him. It came as Epstein's right-hand woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, waited for the Trump admin to respond to her request for an appeal. In a letter on Friday, Solicitor General John Sawyer requested more time to consider Maxwell's request. What? Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers responded to Elon Musk's sensational suggestion that Donald Trump was involved in the late pedophile's crimes. But former Trump friend and attorney Alan Dershowitz tells Daily Mail that he would be right to consider it. Oh my God, he did. Oh my God. He believes the disgraced socialite's excessive 20-year sentence should be commuted for her immediate release and then a pardon. Certainly, she should get a commutation. The sentence was way, way, way in excess of anything she was alleged to have done. Oh my God. Oh my God. Alan Dershowitz unironically gave a quote to dailymail.com to commute the sentence of Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh my God. While this bot account posted this, even though it had nothing to do with that statement is still real. She was in part a victim of Epstein. The fact that Epstein died made her a primary target and caused an excessive sentence on her. Some executive clemency is very much warranted in her case. What the fuck? An ultra close source to the Maxwell family told us last week, it's not a bad idea to ask President Trump for a pardon. He knew her. He probably got views about whether she's guilty or innocent. Maxwell's freedom campaigning brothers Ian and Kevin have not so far petitioned for a pardon of commutation. Dude, what is happening? What the fuck? Oh my God. I can't believe it. I can't believe Alan fucking Dershowitz, Jeffrey Epstein's friend, client, and lawyer. Okay. Sometimes a friend of Jeffrey Epstein, other times a client of Jeffrey Epstein, other times the lawyer of Jeffrey Epstein is now suggesting that the Trump administration offer fucking commutation of the sentence for Ghislaine Maxwell, who played a formative role in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking crimes. This is incredible. The now U.S. Commander-in-Chief had innocently rubbed shoulders with Ghislaine Maxwell and late pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Why not? Taco Man has pardoned everyone else that commits crimes. No one ever wrote the Lolita Express should be allowed to give an opinion on what Ghislaine's punishment, especially Alan Dershowitz. The focus should be names listed in Epstein's Paradise Papers, world leaders, actors, businesses. They want loyalists to know they won't be held accountable for following orders. They're going to pardon all sorts of monsters. They'll pardon Curtis Yarvin's plans. Trump told NBC News today, Trump told NBC News about Elon. I assume my relationship with Elon is over. I have more important things to do than talk with Elon. Elon will face serious repercussions if he finances the Democrats. What does this even mean? That's like not even legal. The Epstein allegations are old news. Even Epstein's lawyer said I had nothing to do with it. It's old news. Elon has deleted many of his posts as of last night about President Trump, along with Epstein list posts. Man, what a public breakup happening in front of us.
The Epstein files. And of course, Trump's in them, like everybody else is in them, like I'm in them. Trump had a.
I love that our societal elites are now just saying like everybody was doing the Epstein stuff. Like, perhaps you should exercise a little bit of caution when openly stating that you were fucking involved with Jeffrey Epstein. What a crazy situation.
A friendship with him back 25 years ago, but there's no indication whatsoever that Trump did anything wrong, any more than that I did anything wrong. So just having your name in the files doesn't mean anything. I was his lawyer. Trump was an acquaintance.
And Chris, if I could add one more piece here, what is going to be incredibly...
I have seen the Epstein files.
Elon deletes post in which he claimed that Trump was named in the Epstein files. What the fuck is going on, man? Elon is definitely backing down, though. I think they basically got to him. And Trump now looks like a responsible party in this matter. Elon looks like a bitch. Anyway, speaking of which, I am going to have Vivian on now. What is this? Oh, they community noted your tweet. Elon lied about his visa and his naturalization process. 77,000 likes on that shit, dude. All right, hold on 1 second. It's like your point on Joshua Cirillo. The right wing is now just openly vile, saying you're obviously on Epstein's list is the high-end version of a rat alarm clock. Yeah, it's fucking insane. It's nutty. Hold on.
Hello. I have to speak into the mic. Hi. My pants are covered in dog hair at the moment.
That's her spot. She lays there. Do you want something to drink?
No, I'm good.
There's a fridge right there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, MBs, we have a very special guest on the broadcast today.
Hello.
What's going on? You're finally here in person, alive and in the flesh.
It's no longer from my very low res computer camera.
I know. Hold on.
Yeah.
You gotta
supposed to speak into this?
Yeah, directly into it. That's okay. That works. That's good. You are a lot taller than I thought you were.
Oh yes, I'm 6 foot. I am a model.
Yeah,
So there's that.
Yeah, you
How
also
tall are you?
also do the same thing that I do, where you wear boots on top of your
Wear
height.
platform heels.
Yeah, I sometimes. Yeah, I
I love that for you.
I have a pair of Doc Martens that have.
Oh yeah, these are Doc Martens.
Yeah, I have a pair of Doc Martens that have like the thick platforms that I bought online when I wasn't as caked up, I guess, with money.
Oh.
And so I was like, I can't return these. It's too much work. So
Yeah.
I just kept it. And I didn't realize I had big platforms. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Flex.
Yeah. I have I've had these for like 3 years. They're very, very durable, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
They can't see the shoes that we're talking about.
They could when you first walked in, probably. Okay,
are the shoes.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
They're dirty.
Can we see a
because
height comparison?
Sure.
Yeah. Go out to the protest, dude. Yeah, we're not gonna do that today, chatter.
Go out in the walk.
There's ice raids happening all around Los Angeles.
Oh goodness. I'm wearing heels. He's slightly taller than me, which is unfortunate. I'm taller than most people.
I'm 5'10".
No, you are not.
I lie. I lie sometimes.
You're the first man I've ever seen who lies about his height in the opposite way.
Well, it's because it's like I've realized that that's more of a threat to other men because like they always lie. They always lie about how tall they are. They like add additional inches.
Yes.
So if I subtract additional inches and dudes are standing next to
it
me,
makes them more insecure.
If I subtract inches, then
They're
they're
trying to
lying and
psychologically torture them.
they're like 5'4".
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Hassan, don't fucking take my height for a joke. See, yeah, they get real touchy about this stuff. All right. Have you ever been to a deco den?
I had to Google what that was.
Okay.
So no.
Well, you're a weeb. You literally lived in Japan.
Okay.
You're supposed to know. You're supposed to know what a deco den is.
I heard like when you first texted me deco den, I thought it had I saw deck and was like, there's something to do with the number 10. I did not put it together, and I had to Google what it was.
No. What is a deco den? Deco den is a term for a style of decorating accessories. The term deco is short for decorated, and den is short for denwa, meaning phone in Japanese. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Wow. Wait, you speak Japanese, right?
A bit.
Hit us with some Japanese terms.
Oh God.
Speak Japanese.
I don't want to.
Do it. Do it.
That says I don't want to. I don't want to.
Okay, that was good enough.
Sure.
Close enough. Konnichiwa warts.
What?
You've never seen that guy? Chat. Send me the TikTok. Your mic is cutting in and out, by the way. You gotta get
I have
close.
to. Oh my God.
Real, yeah. You gotta get up close and personal with it. Forcing Vivian is okay. Stop.
Homophobic. I'm not gay.
No,
allegedly.
He said transphobic.
Oh.
But also,
Allegedly.
You're in enemy territory. I'm a foe of the LGBT community.
As you've said.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
So that's, she's expecting that. Okay. This is what I was. Wait, what the fuck? This video is not working.
Video currently unavailable.
Give me another one, chat. Give me the Konnichiwa Warts video. This guy. Have you ever seen this guy in Japan?
Who is this man?
What's happening, Kaya?
Oh my God.
No.
I made a friend.
What is this?
I made a friend.
She gets this way in front of guests all the fucking time. She will literally just be like, nah, it's my time to shine. I don't care. All right, don't this is bad parenting.
Well, I'm not the parent, so
I know
it's not
I'm
my
the parent. That's why I'm like, okay. All right, Kaya, please.
Oh, come back.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Get down.
Oh.
It's crazy. Here.
Minasan konnichiwa. Hajimete.
7-Eleven.
What the hell is this? Oh.
He did this with the two Yakuza, with the Yakuza guys.
Are there actually Yakuza people?
I mean, that guy definitely is a Yakuza person, yes.
Right.
Who in Japan would have these tattoos?
What tattoos?
These tattoos.
Oh, those okay, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Well, they could be fake.
I think both of these guys are Yakuza, actually. They both got fully tatted up.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go to a Deco Den. This is Girly Pop Nation. Okay.
Yes.
This is Girly Pop Nation time. And in an effort to make sure that this is a Girly Pop Nation time, I'm bringing two of the most girly of the girly pops that I know.
Well,
along for the journey. We're going to go to a Deco Den. I'm not very good at arts and crafts. So I have no idea how this is going to work. We were also going to go to a Pop Mart first, but I feel like we're not going to have a lot of time to do that. Are you familiar with Pop Mart? Do you fuck with Pop Mart?
What is Pop Mart?
Labubus?
Oh, no.
You don't have Labubus?
No, I do not have a Labubu.
Does Gen Z not fuck with Labubus? I thought that was like a Gen Z thing.
Is it a Gen Z? It's not my thing.
I'm trying to
seems-
learn. I'm trying to learn from you,
You know what the
about what Girly Pop Nation is all about, and also this is a learning experience
It's not
for
about
me.
Labubus. You know what the Labubu thing reminds me of? Okay,
What?
so in medieval times, the Netherlands was like obsessed with tulips.
You are such a nerd.
The Netherlands was like obsessed with tulips, and some tulips got insanely expensive. And a show of wealth was having tulips outside your door, and some tulips could be more expensive than a house. And that's what the Labubu crisis reminds me of. And I'm calling it a crisis because it is a crisis.
Okay.
The Labubu bubble.
My mom liked that. She's laughing in the other room.
Your mom is so sweet.
Yeah, she's all right. Okay, the tulip crisis. So you think the Labubu is going to cause the stock market to crash?
Well, no, but I do think the Labubu crash will hurt the hearts of many Labubu stands.
People say Labubu's rising in popularity is a recession indicator.
Well, I think everything is just a recession indicator at this point.
You think a recession is imminent?
I'm not an economist, but based on the current economic ongoings, yes, probably.
Okay.
But I'm a 21-year-old transsexual model, not an economist. So
I feel like many economists that claim to be knowledgeable on what's going on are getting things wrong anyway. So we might as well have your take thrown in the pile.
Fair enough, I suppose.
So this past week has been an interesting one.
Oh, well,
considering that there has been the girlies are fighting.
They are fighting.
They're fighting. How has that been from your you put out a Instagram video saying I told you so or something
I did
along
not
those
say
lines.
I told you so. I said I love being proven right because I was.
What were you proven right about this past week? What took place that you could have been right about this past week? Let's start there.
Well, if you put two men of that variety into a room together and force them to collaborate when both of them are very, how do I say this?
Divas.
No.
Egomaniacal man children.
Well, yes.
Thin-skinned narcissists.
Well, yes. But,
power hungry thin-skinned narcissists.
Oh, you're not stopping, are you?
Okay, go on.
It is basically a matter of time, and we saw that matter of time end. And you know what I did during that day?
What?
I did not give a fuck. I did. No, when that happened, it was like an hour before I had scheduled a stream where I was supposed to talk about Eurovision with this drag queen who I love named Maxi Rainbow. Shout out. And I was like, I have been looking forward to this all week. I am not letting this shit interrupt my plans. Absolutely not.
Feel you.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, did let it interrupt my plans.
Oh,
I had Feroz Sidwa, a trauma surgeon from Stockton, who did 2 tours in Gaza as a healthcare professional.
Yeah.
Sitting in the backyard waiting for me to be done with my coverage over the girlies fighting.
Is that traumatic for you?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, that doesn't seem traumatic for you.
No.
It seems like good content.
No, he
for
was
you,
chill.
honestly.
He was chill about it. He's like, I know. I know what's up.
Oh, I thought you meant you had a trauma surgeon because of the. Okay. Yeah.
No,
I
had
got
him.
it.
I had
Yes,
an interview
that makes
lined
a lot
up.
more
I had an
sense.
interview lined up with him, and then I made him wait because, I'm a charlatan.
I get that. But I mean, it's important that we. I guess what matters is that you had him on because it's very important that we have voices like that. I sound like a. God, I sound like a Miss America pageant winner.
Yeah. All right. What have you been doing since you've been back in LA?
I have been doing a few. I've been getting some modeling gigs in. I've met a lot of people, some very lovely people, especially in the trans community, which I'm very, very thankful for. And I've just been living my life, honestly. Yeah.
What are some upcoming things that you got lined up?
Well, I am doing my first drag show in a week. I'm very, very excited for that. I've been working very hard to get everything together. So I hope it all comes together because it might be like it all comes together at the last moment type of deal, but it should be fun. It should be really fun. I really enjoy the mix, and
Like you're gonna be a participant, or you're gonna be a judge?
In it. Thank you. But I'm going to be performing it. I'm going to be making my drag debut.
Do you know how to do a what is it called? A dead drop?
It's called a dib. First of all,
dib. Sorry.
Yeah. That's
Apologies.
the proper ballroom term.
I'm homophobic.
There's like a lot of different dips, but the one I think you're talking about, the one that's like the most common on like TV with Drag Race, is a dramatic dip. I cannot do that.
What kind of dips can you do?
Well, there's like okay. It's hard to explain. There's like the standard one where it's like on the floor, because the dip is also on top of that. I'm not an expert, by the way. So trust like people who are actually in ballroom more than me. But
hold on. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show the chat what this is, because you know.
Okay,
this
you have to search up ballroom dip, not just dip TikTok clips.
No, but like, I'm looking for a specific one where it's like someone falls and then it transitions into.
That's a ballroom dip, but also people call it a death drop, even though that's not the proper terminology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
I love this.
I love ballroom. It's so impressive.
God damn.
I know.
You can't do that.
No, I cannot do that, unfortunately.
Are you trying to learn how to do that?
I would like to, but like.
Death drop is proper since RuPaul says it. Mother has spoken.
That's actually incorrect. Just because RuPaul says it does not mean it's correct. If you say
Duke it out with the chatters.
If you say death drop, people will understand what you mean. But the proper terminology is dip. That is the original term. That's the term from ballroom. In ballroom, everyone calls it a fucking dip.
If I were to try and do this, my knees would explode instantly. Like I can't even play basketball without patellar bands on.
Oh yeah, my knees would die.
Yeah. You have like 20-year-old knees. You'll be fine.
Well, I was being polite.
To what?
I don't know.
It's okay. I'm old, you know. It is what it is.
That is Laomi. We love her. I don't.
As a gay ass baby right there. God damn.
I know. It's very impressive. Yeah. No, it's crazy. I have no idea how people do this.
So you're not going to do this. Can you do the voguing?
I've taken some lessons, but
hit me with a Vogue.
No, because it's going to be bad. And I'm not trying to embarrass myself.
I'll try to do one as well to soften the approach.
Why don't you do it and I'll just watch?
I don't know how to do it.
Exactly.
You got to teach me how to do it.
I'm not teaching how to do it.
Just tell me what to do with my hands and I'll do it.
I've taken only like a few lessons. I'm not like a professional.
Okay. Well, you know, it's like, what do you do? Like, that's what you do, right? Why are you laughing? I'm trying.
What the fuck is?
I don't know. Like,
isn't this? Oh my God.
It seems like you're not appreciative of me voguing. That's not a Vogue?
Starting a new hobby comes in a lot of different forms. I guess that's one of them.
Let me turn the AC on in here. My dance moves is getting the room hot.
What the fuck was that?
No, I mean I just wanted to turn the AC on. That's not voguing. That's king. Oh, that's a joke. Okay.
There is this thing called
voguing. What is this? This is voguing, kind of.
No, it's not.
It's not voguing. It's
I mean, there's like some hands, but like voguing is also, there's the 5 elements of Vogue, right? Hands is just one of them.
What are the other elements? Wait, you are teaching me how it works. Okay. What are the 5 elements of voguing?
Okay, let me see. Hands, floor performance, dips and tricks, duck walk and catwalk.
Duck walk and catwalk? What does that mean?
Just look up duck walk.
You walk like a duck?
No.
Why do they call it duck walk?
Because that's what it's called. I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna look it up.
I guess it kind of looks like a duck.
Legendary elements
Class
of Vogue.
Is now in session. We're gonna learn some Vogue elements, so let's break this shit down. Catwalk.
I love Legendary. It's a great show.
Whoa.
They canceled it on HBO and I'm really mad.
Hold up.
Yeah.
It's like...
You have to have more motion in it, but like
but I'm trying to fix the hands
But the catwalk, the main thing about the catwalk is the walk. The hands is just like a part of it.
Okay, hold on.
You're trying your best, and I
needed?
appreciate you for that.
You need the height, 1 foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Make sure you're on your tiptoes, add a little bit of hip and opposition. You will get that catwalk going, baby. Boom.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay, I believe in you.
Hold on. What is it like?
Oh my God. Can I hear you?
No.
They cannot hear you.
Maybe.
Oh my
if
God.
I yell,
Okay.
they can hear me.
Don't do that.
There's a noise gate.
A what?
Noise gate.
What is that? Tech tips with Hasanabi.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crunchy, but that's not entirely wrong.
That's
Yeah.
that's the most my knees are gonna.
Your knees.
That was hard on my knees.
Okay, look up duck walking. You're going to literally faint. I want to see you try a duck walk because it would be really funny.
Wait, this video probably shows it. Hold on.
This is how we do. And it's low use elements used for Vogue Femme. And
oh yeah, here.
Duck walk.
No, nah. Can you duck walk? Oh my God, you're gonna duck walk? Hold up, full cam.
Okay, I don't want to fucking fall.
That's crazy. Okay, that was impressive. I can't do that.
My form is not great. I'm working on it.
You call my knees crunchy. You kidding me? You have fucking boots with heels on, and you just popped off. And does it make it easier to do it with
People
heels,
do
or is it harder?
Harder, but most people in ballroom do it with like stilettos.
Kaya. That's crazy.
I know.
She's so sassy. She's being sassy. She's being a sassy queen
Me or
right
the
now.
dog?
No, Kaya. Well, you too.
Well,
Banishka, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Hassan's knees about to be crunchier than Derrick Rose.
I really want to see you try that. It would be so funny.
The duck walk. I can't
please
do
try
that.
it.
No,
Please.
because my knees will explode.
Yeah.
Like I was front squatting.
I mean, it would get you a lot of views if your knees exploded.
Yeah, but it would cook me. I would need to get like literally. I would need to call up a surgeon instantly. Like we should. If I called one ahead of time, if I had healthcare professionals waiting outside, I would do it because I would be going not to Deco Den, but an emergency room instantly after this.
Wow.
Yeah, I was doing front squats and I felt like my knees were gonna explode already. You sit for a living, it's all G. Exactly. I'm a professional sitter. A lot of people don't understand how difficult it is to sit down. Sit on your white ass down and listen. But instead of listening, I do talking. But still, the sitting part is the difficult part of this process that a lot of people don't understand.
Oh.
And, you know, they just don't appreciate it, these guys.
The fact that you sit down for like 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
I could never. I'm like hyperactive.
See, there you go. She can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's low crouching
That was really impressive, by the way.
My form is really bad, so no, it's not.
You fucking popped that shit off out of nowhere.
What do you mean out of nowhere?
That was crazy. Like, I feel like they're out of nowhere is in like no like getting your knees in order. No doing moves beforehand. No stretching. You just boom popped into it. Oh, fuck,
Yeah.
You're 20 years old. That's what it is.
I'm 21.
Okay, you're 21 years old. You're
Yes.
basically 20.
Sure.
Being 21 is like from where I'm at in my life, being 33, about to be 34 years old.
There are people who are in ballroom who are much older than you and who can do that.
That's how are they
Yes.
even? Oh, but they're super skinny, I assume.
No, actually.
What?
A lot, yeah.
That makes
People
no
who
sense.
participate in ballroom come in all shapes and sizes.
Dude, I'm older than you. I can do that. Okay, everybody,
Yeah.
calm down. Okay, calm down with your fucking flexing, dude. Unbearable in the chat. Oh, Caroline Kwan is here.
Oh yay!
Girly Pop Nation representative number 1. Where the fuck is March? Is the real question. Hold up.
When are we supposed to? Were we all supposed to get here at 3, or was that just me?
No. I told everyone to come and at different times because
Oh,
I like to be
everyone is.
mysterious.
I was like, everyone is very
mysterious.
late. Oh my goodness, she's here.
Oh God.
I'm gonna go say hello.
All right. Is learning how to throw your weight? Oh God. She's being annoying. Oh, you're leaving? Okay. Let's all appreciate Hasanabi putting himself down so we can all feel better. Exactly. Thank you. Someone understands it. Someone fucking gets it. We're looking at voguing. Can you vogue?
That's not bad.
You are.
Hold on,
Okay,
excuse me.
you're fucking lying.
Hold on. Can you duck walk?
Oh yes, we want to see you duck walk.
I want to see you duck walk.
Duck walk right now.
I got old.
What? She's
We
not.
have old knees.
What do you mean we? I just duck walked earlier. It was awesome.
Really? Let me see.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't- I can only-
prove her right.
I can only do it once a day. Sorry.
I know. Hassan did it 5 seconds ago, and
Let
he's
me
not
see.
doing it
Is
now.
that why you're sweating?
Yeah. That's why I'm sweating. You should do it now to show us, show me off.
Hassan, you should give her a guide since you just did it so
No.
excellently.
No. It's fine. I don't want to embarrass anybody. I don't want. My knees are recharging. Let me pull you a chair, Caroline.
Don't worry though. I'll just stand it. I love how none of us are in frame.
I know. I'm like, are we? Are we heading out now, or are we?
No.
Okay, because Cuties, they're done with the house with her. So what time are we going?
We're gonna go at 4, but we're waiting for March.
Oh,
And
okay.
I thought March was supposed to be here. I'm gonna call him right now. He's probably sleeping.
Oh my goodness.
All right, where are you going, Caroline? Oh,
I'm good.
hold on. Oh, you're coming right now.
There's like a
okay.
million people in the chat. Hassan
Perfect.
is very successful at this.
Okay, all right. I'll see you in a second. Son of a bitch.
Oh my goodness.
This guy.
Profanity.
He's gonna get lashes. What is this? Here's the clip for them. Oh God, that's what it looked like.
No, I do not. There was okay. So the thing about that is there was an article about my response. I think it was Vanity Fair who said I was channeling Patti LuPone, and I'm like,
Wait, when did they say this?
this was like yesterday with my response.
They said this yesterday?
Yeah, and I'm like, I wasn't channeling Patti LuPone. It was
Wait, your response to
the drama. I was just like, I do not want to comment. It was not Patti LuPone. It was a Naomi Campbell reference. First of all,
sorry, that was who wrote that piece.
I don't know.
Put him on blast.
Well, they asked me, and then I didn't respond because I was asleep.
No, they were trying to equate it to so Patti LuPone, did this New Yorker profile. That was like the beginning of the drama.
Okay.
But at the end of it, they ask her, so what do you think of Audra McDonald, who is starring in Gypsy? She's most likely going to win her 7th Tony tomorrow. Patty, who famously also played Mama Rose in Gypsy, she pauses for 15 seconds. Literally 15 seconds and then goes, oh, what a beautiful day. Like that was the end of the piece. So that's why they were trying to act like you being like, oh, I've got
Okay,
nothing
so
to say
no,
on
I
this.
understand why they would think that. I had no idea she did that. Full T.
I don't know.
Yeah, but all of
who
Broadway is
any of
so
these
mad at
people
her,
are.
so no one's mad at you.
Why are people mad at Patti LuPone?
LuPone.
I'm sorry.
LuPone.
Patti LuPone.
Even I know that.
Patty LuPone?
LuPone. Patti LuPone.
Pew pew.
She said it like 5 times.
I
How
did
did
say
you?
it like 5 times.
Patti LuPone. I'm a big fan. Love her work on Broadway.
I don't even bother trying to explain this kind of stuff to him.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't register.
It doesn't register.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a big fan of
Patti
Broadway and Broadway
that-
musicals.
Name 5 musicals right now.
No, he will say no.
Chicago, Moulin Rouge, Phantom of the Opera,
Do not
Mamma
say.
Mia, and
What is Donald Trump's favorite movie? Favorite musical?
That was Phantom of the Opera.
No, other one.
Cats?
Yes.
Cats is his favorite?
Wait, do you not
With his
know?
5.
Donald Trump's favorite? Oh my God.
No, Donald Trump is a massive Andrew Lloyd Webber
with
Webber
Broadway
fan.
and with Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah.
He loves Cats.
The musical?
Back
By
in
the
the
way,
80s.
did you guys, excuse me, before we move on to other Girly Pop Nation, I just nailed 5, okay? And I
you
had
did.
more in the tank.
That was impressive.
I had more in
But
the
half
fucking
of those
tank.
you know because they're Donald Trump's favorite musicals.
No, I've watched
had no
all of
idea
them.
of
My
that.
mom wanted me to be gay.
That's true.
I've told you this story. She made me watch all these Broadway
Your
musicals.
mom wanted you to be
You are a
gay.
disappointment.
What? No, 100%. I am a disappointment. That's true. No, I am the living, breathing example that you can't make your child gay because my mom tried so fucking hard. Like if the conservatives were right and you could just be hit with like a gay ray, I would be the gayest. I saw it. Don't worry.
I
about
kicked
it.
something.
No,
I'm
it's
so
trash.
sorry.
I'd be the gayest dude on the planet. She took me to musicals all the fucking time, like literally nonstop, to a certain degree, to so much so that I was like, all right, like this is crazy. Oh, I didn't even say Les Miserables.
The pronunciation was bad. I was just shocked.
Wait, did your mom try to get you to be in musicals? Did she want you to be a little
Like-
theater
Oh, no.
boy? A little
Annette?
theater.
Oh,
she
she
left.
just left.
She
Damn.
needs some R&R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she,
she
like,
didn't try to
hit a
get me to
jazz
be
square?
in musicals, but she definitely took me to so many fucking Broadway shows.
Yeah.
And
Are you
I
from New
think-
York?
No, I'm from Turkey. I grew up in Istanbul.
Oh.
Yeah.
And how did you see so
Wait,
many
but when you
Broadway
guys were living in
musicals?
Jersey, would she like go
Oh,
to-
okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
No, we didn't like live together in New Jersey. I would visit in the summers and stuff, but when we visited, she would take me to Broadway musicals, and also there's Broadway musicals in Turkey too.
Wait, do you know that there is 444 Obama the Musical currently playing?
I know about that. Barack like Obama.
Because his name is Obama.
It's so fucking
Baraka Obama.
Okay, wait, no, you hit the note. You hit the note.
I love vibrato, you know.
Girl.
No,
Okay,
you need,
it's so funny.
You
It's
need
so
the
funny.
soundbite, the Baraka
Obama. It went,
Oh, it's 44 Obama music.
What did I say? 444?
Yeah, you said
you wanna know.
444.
it went fucking crazy
Sorry,
viral on
angel
TikTok.
numbers. Sorry, I see them
you
everywhere.
you are begging for me to play Vaginoplasty.
You know what?
You
It's
are
fine.
begging.
That is my favorite song.
Me too.
Oh my
No,
God.
I know.
And Caroline
Play.
does not
Play.
appreciate.
Play.
Okay, first we'll listen to this and then we'll play Vaginoplasty.
Yes.
That is the last time you high five him. No more for him. Only here. On the pill.
Like that, I would with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Do it. This should be Broadway.
Liberalism needs to
It's
end.
playing right now. Let's go.
It's over. No,
Can we
liberalism.
please go?
Liberalism needs to be
Let's
put
go.
out in the
Let's go.
pasture. Liberalism needs to be
We
put
should
out
go. We should
back. Liberalism needs to be sent to the glue factory like a horse
But
that
first
got
we'll
injured.
watch Obama the musical.
Did you just say sent to the
Austin
glue
said
factory?
he's down to go.
Sent to the glue factory
Is
like
that
a
an
horse.
Animal Farm reference?
Well, it's I don't know.
Or is that just
it?
a saying?
Was it a reference to Animal Farm? I don't remember.
Oh,
but
Orwellian. Anyway.
it's just like something that people say about when horses are no longer
That's super fucking
able
coconuts.
to run.
Can we play La Vaginoplastia?
Okay, hold on. Well, it's my favorite. Don't
I
worry.
think that
Would
somehow
recommend the show
Carla
to
was involved
everyone.
between Trump and I feel like somehow she's
Who?
somewhere behind
Carla
the scenes.
Sofia Gascon. She follows me on Instagram. by the
No,
way.
she does not.
She does.
No.
Yes.
Wait, she's the
When did
older
she follow
lady,
you?
right?
The older
like
lady,
a
she's
month and a
Amira
half ago.
Perez. See,
Yeah.
you never even watched the movie though.
Yeah, I never. I only.
No.
I never.
I've
I never watched the
seen the
movie.
entire movie, and I hate to say it, I was somewhat transfixed. It's not good, but I was entertained and kept up with the plot without distractions for like 2.5 hours. I was on a plane though.
He has played the song so many times, but has no idea what the
I've
musical,
not.
what the movie even is.
I've not watched the movie. No, I know the basics. I know enough about like how
Penis
insane.
to vagina?
No, not just that part. Like I know what happens is like it's she's a trans cartel leader.
Oh, a horrible person.
Yeah. And
But
then,
then she embraces her identity
Yeah.
and then also wants to no
Well, that
longer
doesn't
be
really-
a cartel leader.
Yeah, but that doesn't really. I feel like once you're a cartel leader, you can't really just.
You can't really go back from
No,
that.
no, you don't understand.
Also, it was not.
wow, you're
Obviously,
not
you
woke
missed-
enough for
You missed
rehabilitation.
you missed part of the movie.
Also, the movie was very offensive to basically everyone.
It's
Oh, there's
not
also
good.
Israel.
So
there's also
bad.
like I didn't know
Oh,
this at the
yes.
time.
I forgot
they
about
go to
this.
Israel.
There's also like a random Israel edition.
They sing the song in Israel.
The vaginoplasty.
That's
Yes.
yeah.
No,
that
no.
scene takes place in Israel.
No, it doesn't. I thought it took place in fucking.
No,
Wait, I mean
it's-
you watched the movie. I didn't know.
No,
Why
they
am I-
went
why
to
am I
Israel
mansplaining?
to the surgeon.
He hasn't even
It
seen
takes
the
place
movie.
in Israel.
Wait, I thought I could have sworn the plane says he's like landing in like Thailand or something, but maybe I'm
Is
wrong.
it Thailand? I thought it was.
No, but
Or
that's
Hong Kong
where
or
they
That's a
go.
different place.
Wait, hold on.
Is it different?
Thailand.
I don't remember this fucking
Someone
movie.
said-
There's like a bunch of places that they go to.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm trying to burn this movie out of my memory. Why am I
Mexico.
even trying to recall it right now?
Mexico, Switzerland.
Here, do you want to see
think
something? Do you
London
want to
is
see
They
something
end
cool?
up doing it in
Look,
Switzerland.
Caroline,
What?
That's not a duck walk.
it's a catwalk, and I nailed it. Is what you
I'm
said.
surprised you remember what the
earlier.
name of it was.
You know what? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, someone
For-
send me the link for
Okay.
vaginoplasty.
Just
You
search it
gotta
out.
do it.
Me?
No, you already did the duck walk. It's way harder. Now you gotta do the catwalk.
Yeah.
Okay. Sound of my knees.
It doesn't affect your knees.
She said I was crunchy.
Well, you were.
Look, I am not in duck walking form.
This is
What do you mean?
catwalk.
I
not
have
duck walk.
Bergen stocks or whatever they're called on my feet. Wait, hold on.
That was better than Hassan.
Thank you. That's
come
all
on.
I need to be.
I put
need to
some
be is better than
great.
seasoning. I put some seasoning
They
on my
also
shit.
said this about
Bitch,
Night
what
Rain,
seasoning?
Hassan,
Salt?
That I'm better
She
than
was
you.
just walking.
Mine,
Oh, here
as
it is,
long
here
as
it is,
I'm
here it
better
is,
than
here it is.
Hassan,
Here it is. Here it is. Let's see.
that's it.
No, I was
Let's
wrong.
go!
I can admit when I'm wrong. I know they go to Israel at one point. in
You
the
know what
movie.
it is?
Oh no, they
you
had the
wanna know why?
consultation.
It's because he has watched specifically
Yeah.
This
man,
fucking clip.
this fucking video
No, I have. Yeah.
a
It's
million times.
True. It's true.
Yeah.
Very nice to meet you. I'd like to know about sex men.
To woman, woman to man,
Man to woman.
from penis to vagina.
Is it for you?
for me.
What would you like to know?
I want to know it all. What is the protocol? The techniques and the risks. How many operations? How much time do you
It
need?
goes so hard.
You better hit those fucking notes.
It goes hard. It goes hard.
No, but the thing is, you're slaying. They're not. Like this? Just for the bat. How much will it be? For you? $4,500.
They're also slaying.
I need someone to make. I need a ballroom remix to this right fucking
gayest,
now.
These are the gayest places on the planet, I assume. That's
I
what
need
they're
Naomi
saying.
to do one. I need Gravity to do one. Oh my goodness.
Did you see, what's her name? Zoe Saldana said right after she won the Oscar, she just collapsed.
No.
She just came out yesterday and like said, I won the award and then I just collapsed. Like, because you knew how the real acting was pretending like that was a good movie throughout award season.
Who edited this? Someone took time.
Oh
That is
my
keyframing.
God.
Someone keyframed this.
Hassan's pet potato.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This is art.
Honestly, this is the best, like, anti-arts PSA, you know?
No.
Just play them that.
This is beautiful.
This is art.
This is art.
This is how art thrives.
I agree with Hassan.
This is timeless. It's a timeless classic.
This is evidence that we need to fund the arts.
Yeah.
There we go.
See.
Yeah, so that we can
See
make
how
more
fast
of
you
this.
change your opinion? What do you stand for?
Yeah.
You stand for nothing.
We need to do more of this. That's what we need to do. Oh.
Hi. Hello. Vivian, lovely to meet you.
You said 4 o'clock. You said 4 o'clock.
Oh, that's true. The bag is over there.
See,
don't
I
know
was
where
here early as well.
I don't know where the camera is, but the batteries are all over the house.
Genetics, honestly. And don't use heat or diet because that will affect and damage your. Ooh. Or let dogs get to it because that will affect and damage it.
Wait, what will?
If you have long hair,
Uh-huh.
dyeing your hair, never. Bleach your hair, never.
I color my
Yeah. I wanted like one strand of it bleached, and then you can see it like notably shorter than the rest. It's in the front. And then it like faded out. I don't know.
How long have you been growing it out?
Like 6 years.
Still going? Do you think it can keep going?
Going for what?
Like keep growing your hair, I think that's what she means.
I don't know. We'll
Think
see.
you feel like that girl whose hair was all the way to the ground?
Sonia
Sonia
Lang.
Lang!
Thank you for the 100 gifted subs.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay. For those of you who don't know who the icon herself is, Mama Pitokipona, Sonia Lang. Love her. Okay. I talked about Tokipona last time. She's the one who invented the language.
Wait, shut up.
Yeah.
The person that just gifted 100 gifted subs is the person that invented the nerd language you were talking?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, what nerd language?
Tokipona.
Have a great stream. Okay, well, I shouldn't say nerd language because she just gifted 100 gifted subs. The cool language.
I don't think she'd be offended by that.
I meant like the cool language that was.
Wait, can I hear it?
I'm always insecure when I want to.
We just had a duck walk.
You already hit it. Oh, Madam Akardishim, I'm the lady who created the Tokipana language. Thanks for the shout
She's a
out.
polyglot. She speaks a bunch of languages.
Yeah,
She's like one of my heroes.
Back in 2024, Doggo, thanks for the gift sub. Madam Akardishim, I'm the lady who created Tokipana language. Thanks for the shout out from you and Viv. Have a great stream. Pona Otawa Sina.
That means like good unto you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should learn Tokipana on the stream now.
No.
No, it's like an economy language, right?
Economy.
It
has a very restricted vocabulary.
Yeah.
So a lot of things you just kind of have to like describe them.
Okay.
Like, for example,
You can learn it in a day?
if you spend all day on it, and if you have like a good memory.
Sina sola ala sona. If you couldn't understand what I just
accent is
said,
pretty
don't worry, you're not having a stroke. I was just speaking Toki Pona.
Wait,
Although
wait,
actually,
play
I guess
back.
technically it's possible.
If he's
Why
got,
is that?
What the fuck is? What the fuck?
That's not the best. That's not the best representation.
I'm sorry. Okay.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna play it
Just play
again.
it again.
Is that AI? It looks AI. Or is that? I'm so sorry to this.
Okay, wait,
I
stop.
cannot tell. Is this
Everybody-
AI or not?
Everybody, stop talking. We need to hear it. Hold on.
Toki, Nimi Mili Sam.
Toki, Mimi, Willie, Sam.
Am I supposed?
What the
Wait,
fuck
wait,
did he
wait.
say?
Play it again.
Sina sola ala sona. If
Do you
couldn't-
know?
Toki.
That's hello. Toki is hello.
Okay. Oh my God, this is the video that notoriously gets everything wrong about the language.
Yes. Okay. So yes. No. Because it said me Lee. If I heard right, which is no. That's a no. There are very few grammatical rules. I never say that.
Okay, which video? Well, since the creators in the chat, which video is this better?
Tokia, Mian Kikan-san.
Yeah.
Miwele pana e sona pi Toki Pona.
I want to teach you Toki Pona.
My name's Greg Dan 3. I want to teach you about Toki Pona.
Right.
Today, we're going to be talking about the very first few words
I love this model.
in Toki
It's
Pona
so
and the
adorable.
most.
This is VR, I think.
So
Yeah.
confused. It, like,
Oh, Jan
But
Measley.
you're
Yes,
supposed to
yes. Jan
understand
Measley is
it.
also really good for those of you who are interested in learning.
What does Yan mean? Is that Tokipona
Jan
language?
is like person. So
like
in Tokipona, my name is Jan Wibian because your name is like Jan and then your name because that's how like they describe like proper nouns. It's
Toki, Mian Misali. Kulupuni.
Mian Misali.
Well, that's just I
You
am.
just make everything sound Japanese.
Mian Misali.
That seems racist. Okay, no. So that's I am. But if you want to say my name is, that would be Nimi Mili.
No, you can
Nimi Mili Jan.
you can make jokes about Axis powers. It's allowed.
Nimi Mi. Oh, Nimi Mili.
Mimi Mili.
Oh, that's what he was saying. Nimi Mili. Jan.
Okay.
And then-
Kulupunipi sitelentawa la sina kenkama sona e Tokipona.
That was mad.
But where does this come from?
Sonia Lang.
She just made it up.
Yeah. A lot of the words have etymology of different languages, which I love. But some of them are like somewhat stretches. But there's a lot of like mostly Indo-European and Finnish. Is Finnish Indo-European? I should know this. It's Uralic.
Yeah.
So is the Uralic family part of Indo-European? I should really know this. This is really
Isn't this
embarrassing.
your specialty?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Is Uralic Indo-European?
And Sonia Lang is
No,
in
I know
here
it's
too.
Uralic, but is Uralic Indo-European?
It was
is
an
the
art
question.
project that randomly turned into
Sonia's
a
in
niche
here,
world
and you're
language.
embarrassing yourself right now in front of
Oh my-
Sonia.
Well, we chatted on Discord.
Well,
So
Uralic is not.
okay, so that's what I thought. So I was correct, and then I second guessed myself. Do not second guess yourself, children.
It was an art project that randomly turned into a niche world language.
Yeah.
No, Uralic isn't Indo-European. Okay, well, you're coming in after
Okay, so I was right the
Maestro
first
Greg.
time. So
Maestro
Hungarian
Greg,
is
everyone now is saying no, Uralic isn't Indo-European after Sonia confirmed it.
so Hungarian.
Mobile chatters.
So also, that lesson, Uralic includes languages such as Finnish, Estonian, and Hungarian, which means those languages are not a part of the broader Indo-European family. Thank you.
Now you're just like
Okay, we
now
can
you're
learn.
just trying to make up.
I have to get my redemption.
Yeah, you're trying to make up for the reputational damage you brought upon yourself.
Oh my God.
I brought you here as a linguistic expert.
Wait, is
You
that what
can't
you
even.
studied in
You couldn't
school?
even pronounce linguistic.
I'm
Yeah.
ESL.
But you know what?
In college,
Spell
yeah.
it.
I'm ESL. Who's being racist now? You.
Me.
Yeah, I'm ESL.
Fair enough.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it doesn't
My
count for him,
apologies.
though.
What do you mean it
Wait,
doesn't fucking
did
count?
you
It
study-
does.
Did you study languages?
Yeah.
In school?
I did.
That's why you know this stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're being quite racist towards white Chinese. I'm white Chinese.
No, my
What the
God.
fuck? What the
He-
fuck is that?
I
Toki,
tell you
Mia-
that him and my boyfriend will say that they are more Chinese than I am.
Okay, excuse me. I can't speak for Will because he's not in the room, but I am white Chinese.
你会说中文吗?
I don't know how to speak Mandarin.
Oh, yeah, what
unfortunately.
she said.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Ni hao, bitch.
No, you don't.
Wait,
You
am I
barely-
the person in this room who can speak the most Chinese despite both of you saying that you're Chinese?
Yeah, because I'm ethnically
Oh my fucking God.
more Chinese than Caroline is. Okay.
Yeah, merhaba, bitch.
Merhaba, bitch.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's why. Okay, are you ready? My people.
This is fun. I'm having
My
fun.
people initially came from the steppe.
The
Right?
steppe,
We
yeah.
are a nomadic people, Turkic people.
I know this.
And
That's why it's
obviously
not Indo-Europe.
Xinjiang, were
Uyghurs.
formerly known as East Turkestan, which is now wonderfully a part of course, the
Yeah, that is why the
Chinese
Uralic family
government.
is not, because the Uralic family is also came from people from the same region, which is why it's not Indo-European, which is what I fucking thought. And I was
Okay. Well, in any case, I'm officially from that area, so obviously I'm white Chinese. Like I'm fully white Chinese, whereas Caroline's only half.
what the fuck are you talking about? I don't have
Caroline's
time for
only
this.
half Han.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm white and Chinese.
This is
Yeah,
giving like I'm
which is different than being
6%
white
Irish. I'm 0.5% Senegalese.
I
My
am-
grandma was a Cherokee princess.
I'm 100% Turkish,
My grandma was not a
white Chinese.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Sure.
you're white and Chinese is different. You're like half. I'm 100%
No,
white
I hate
Chinese.
this. I hate everything.
I know. This is
Okay, that's too far back.
Yeah.
No, the cutoff is.
Oh God.
The cutoff is.
Oh, I know what the
you
chat's about to say.
Wait, what?
Because whenever, like, in my entire childhood, the thing that I, like, the one thing everyone thought they were so creative for coming up with this. People would be like, oh, so you're technically African American.
Yeah, no, my chat is older than
And
that.
everyone said this to me, and everyone thought they were the first one to say it.
They did not.
Things that no
Will
one's
is
ever
speaking.
said.
What the fuck? Will is typing some
Why?
shit.
Where is he?
Wobe Feibongo? What the fuck does
Clip
that
that.
mean?
Please clip that.
No.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure. I don't actually speak Mandarin.
You know, he just Googled that shit.
What is he? What is Chinese chatters? Unlike, help a Chinese brother out. Help a white Chinese brother out. What is this? What is he saying?
Just copy, paste into Google. That is where he got it from.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of this? He said you are Greek Chinese. That's not true. I'm white Chinese. There's no such thing as Greek Chinese.
Here comes everybody speaking Chinese.
Yeah. What is the meaning of this? It's Vietnamese.
It is not Vietnamese. That is Mandarin. That is Pinyin. Thank you.
Tom.
Okay, you're coming in hot with all of
Come in hot.
with all of the fucking
Girl,
language.
I play
linguistics.
GeoGuessr from time to time, and the only way I can get things right is because I look at the sign and I can immediately recognize the language.
That's a good
I'm
way
not
to do
some
it.
fucking the grass is giving Polish.
Oh, he's saying I was slandered. That's what he's saying.
Okay, well.
In Mandarin.
Yeah, my Mandarin's not good. I forgot all of it, despite the fact that I studied for 3 years in high school.
I've been
You
slandered
studied
enough.
Mandarin for 3 years? Wait, is it the fake high school or the other one that you went to?
That was
Or
middle
it
school.
the middle school?
That was fake. The middle school
Why'd
is
you
the
look
weird
at me
one.
like that?
Wait, no, I'm fake high school?
No, I had weird middle school, and then high school was
Weird middle school.
the
Made up
actual
middle
high
school.
school. It wasn't made up. It was like kind of the school. The teachers were like cool. I learned a
Yeah.
lot.
You didn't watch
I was bad
our
at
first
chem-
interview,
like-
clearly, because you would have been
It's
enlightened.
like 3 hours long.
I saw clips of Vivian being great, but I did not see the
Okay,
whole.
well,
I
yeah,
did not.
that
See, I
was-
did listen to you on Wine About It though. Oh, also you and Matt Bernstein, who I'm now.
That's crazy.
Matt
Oh,
Bernstein,
so
my
you-
gosh, Matt
you
Bernstein.
fucking
Oh,
Wine About
lovely.
It?
Yes,
First of
I
all,
listened to her and Maya and Cutie. Why wouldn't
Matt
I?
Bernstein's literally like an angel
I
upon
love
this earth. Why the
Matt.
fuck do you have a Trump hat?
Wait, what do you mean? I have so much more than
He
you.
had. Wait.
Look.
What
have
the
you
fuck
shown-
is this?
Look
Hold
up there.
You have to see the big one.
Is this an authentic Trump hat?
I stole it from a bald rapist. So
What do you mean you
probably,
stole it?
He brought it to a basketball.
Oh,
game.
rapists touch this? Ew, get it away.
Well, it's a Trump hat, so it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be difficult to find one that isn't touched by a sex criminal.
My favorite thing on Trump hats is when it says "Made in." Where's the "Made in America"?
Made in China.
Made in China tag.
Oh, this one doesn't have any of it.
It doesn't have it.
I'm not touching that.
Yeah, it doesn't have any of it because, like, I think they were embarrassed to admit that it's made in China, so they like clipped that part off or something. I don't know.
Wait, I have to.
I mean, you just. Okay, Jesus. All right.
I like you, Queen. Try that on for size.
I am not putting this on.
For size.
I wanted to
Come on, grab that. Grab the gun.
Gun?
There.
There's a gun?
Well,
There's
it's
multiple. There's one.
What do you
There's a
mean there's a
Glock.
gun?
There's a Glock right there if you want to pick that up.
Why do you have a Glock?
What do you mean? I gotta stay strapped. I gotta stay strapped at all times.
Oh.
Yeah, Kai doesn't care.
Okay, I'm gonna run to the bathroom for heading out.
Oh, I was gonna do that too.
Okay, well, I'll
While
go
you
first.
guys are okay. Well, I'll wait. No, I know. I'll. All right, hold on. I got. Don't worry about it. I almost kicked it again. God damn! How can you be so coordinated to be able to duck walk and then so uncoordinated when you're kicking stuff around like that? But yeah, there's an AR-15 right there, and then a Glock on the table.
Is that an actual AR?
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's a Glock too here. Pick up the Glock.
I'm not picking up the Glock.
Why not? It's fine.
Is it loaded? It's not loaded.
Yeah, but it's.
What do you
just-
mean, yeah?
Yeah, it's. Just,
This is an OSHA violation.
what do you mean?
This is a place of work.
I need the.
This is an OSHA violation.
I stay strapped up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I got enemies. You know.
Oh my god, you're so fucking cringe.
I do. I have enemies.
Second Kamason. This is the first video in a
I
12-part
love
series
Rami
about
Salih.
Toki.
I watched like all of these when I was, and I like stopped. But I'm getting much more back into it now. Partially thanks to Sonia Ling.
Okay,
Love
let's
you.
let's go back to Emilia Perez, doctor scene from Israel.
Lady, you know, I only fix the body,
I forgot this is like the talk singing one.
skin, bones, but I will never
Pero
fix the
nunca
soul.
arreglaré el mal.
Okay, I'm sorry. you can't talk sing. Like
I hate talk singing.
Yeah, you have to commit. It's either talk or sing. You can't half commit to singing. What do you want?
I'll get away.
I threw it out of your vision.
A rapist touched.
God, you are such a lib. It's like very.
I'm
it's
not
like,
touching something a rapist touched. Ew.
I mean, yeah.
I'm not disgracing my skin. Thank you.
Scaring women in a sauna, name a better duo. Okay, calm down, dude.
I'm not scared.
All right, wait, can you come in so I can pee, please? Oh my God. Oh, that's crazy.
Sorry, we're talking about
in.
Night Rain.
What is Night Rain?
It's the new Elden Ring game.
Oh.
Hold on.
I never really played like. You're gonna come for me for knocking over the shit, and then you just knocked over a bottle of. I think that's something. Sure. So what is that?
It's a FromSoft game.
FromSoft.
Yeah. Don't ask me like to explain anything other than you.
I really only play like the multiplayer games.
Yeah.
The only single player game I've really played is like Mario and Danganronpa.
Did you say Mario?
I said Mario.
It's like
I said Mario.
Mario.
I said Mario.
Let's play some Mario.
My mom says Mario.
No. Your mom says Mario?
Yeah.
Do you even bother correcting her? You're like,
no,
it's okay, girl. You
She
know
says-
what?
She says Mario and pasta.
who's that? How
She
does
says pasta. She's
Pasta?
Canadian. She's from Ontario.
Oh, okay.
No, not like that.
Fiesta. That's how my mom says it.
Is she from Jersey?
No, she's from Chicago, but she's
Okay.
also extra. So she'll be like, Piesta.
Where's the pasta?
Where's the Piesta?
This
Oh, God.
pasta.
This is how she does. Oh, gee. Oh, God.
Oh, I can't do it.
Oh, Duels.
Oh, duels. Where's the pasta?
Duels. Oh, my God. This is my mother. When I was growing up, my friends would do an imitation of my mother. Here
Yeah.
it is. Oh, my God. Duels. What's going on? What's happening? It kind of almost was like, that was my mother, Helen, walking into and just be like, oh, my God, what's happening?
Oh my God. Well, right now.
Like if we were sitting here, she'd come over, she'd be like, what is going on?
Well, right now.
What is
Well, right now, darling.
Yes.
There is a situation.
That's where I get it
This
from.
is my horrible Joycey
Oh,
accent.
jeez. It's like a mixture of, it's like East Coast Chicago, but then also just diva as well.
Love that.
Like she's such a diva.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like if we're just talking to, like it's big. Can you believe? Oh,
I can't believe
my
it.
God.
I can't fucking do it at all. I sound.
Yes, you can. You can learn. Who are these women? Where's daddy? We're your daddy now.
Yeah, we're your daddy now.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Who's your daddy? If that had just collapsed, I would have died laughing.
I would not have died laughing. I would have been petrified.
No, I would have died laughing. That would have been so funny. Wait, while he's gone, I'm
Okay.
stealing his.
Y'all say foot. I'm wearing a boot. Thank you. What is that? What is this in?
Don't do them.
Is that the nicotine thing?
Yeah.
I smoke. Yeah, I need to quit. I'm gonna quit in like a few weeks.
No, I'm good.
Still am.
Don't smoke, by the way. Do not. Oh my fucking God. Do not do
Never
it
do it.
ever.
Nicotine is the devil.
Honey.
It's the devil. But this is socialism, is that we take from the rich. We take from the rich and we give to the less.
Sure.
So that's what I'm doing here.
Oh my God.
No, this all started off because he did steal one of mine. And ever since then, now it
Zen
gives
war?
me free reign to steal his.
The war over Zen sounds like something that comes from like the fucking Dream SMP.
Because they had like the disc war, I think. This is like a deep cut.
Yeah, this is the Zen war. I could see that. Could y'all not see
I had
that?
a company reach out to me because they were like, hey, so I don't even know how they found this out. They're like, we heard that you have used Zins in the past.
Oh God.
And because of the perception of Zins being a really bro thing.
Is it?
Yes. It's like workout, Zin, protein shake, bro. And they were like, we really want to get women on board. I said, no,
I'm not gonna be sponsored by nicotine.
hey kids.
Hey kids.
Hey kids, you know what you need?
A nicotine.
You wake up in the morning
I don't know what this
and a
fucking
big,
place is.
big heaping of nicotine.
Honey. Yeah.
I know, but it's like they're trying to change the perception of pouches being not just for guys, but also for the girls.
That's what
It's
we
for the
need.
girly pops.
And the NBs. I don't.
Wait,
we should
when did
probably
you?
stop
When
talking
did
about
do you like smoke cigarettes, girl?
I don't want to talk about it.
No, we're gonna talk about it.
I'm working on it.
When was your first cigarette?
18.
That's actually not that bad.
No,
I thought
it's
you were
not
gonna be
that
like
bad.
12.
No. It was because I lived in Quebec.
Okay, so it's only been what, 3 years?
Less.
4? Wait,
Less than 3 years.
you 20?
21.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But it was like way after I turned 18.
Okay.
I'm being exposed.
When was your first cigarette?
Oh my God.
I don't know.
We should probably stop talking about fucking cigarettes
Why?
because
Because you want to
children.
Because you want to rip.
No, but
a
we're saying they're
bow?
bad.
They are bad. Don't do them.
Right.
When
We're a dare campaign.
We are a dare.
When was my first ever? I mean, I started with dip.
All the people who are saying they quit in the chat, I am so proud of you, by the way. That is very impressive.
I started with dip in college. I think it was like after college. The first. Oh no, it was in college definitely.
Don't smoke.
Wait, I thought you were like smoking cigs as a boy in Turkey.
No, not in Turkey. No.
Like little 6-year-old.
Can we please change the topic of conversation?
Wait, why? What are you worried?
I'm not trying to get fucking canceled.
Why? Don't cancel.
I get canceled like every week on conservative Twitter. Okay.
For saying that smoking cigarettes
Bro,
makes you look
no, for doing a
super
dance
cool.
to Polish Queen Justyna Styczkowska. People thought I was possessed by a demon, which, to be fair, it did look like that. So.
Well, I mean, it's not your fault that smoking a cigarette makes you instantly look cool.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It makes
Stop.
you look so
It
sick.
doesn't.
Just
Oh my God. Hassan.
Bad.
Hassan, there are minors watching.
probably not.
You have a lot of viewers. Some of them are probably children.
I don't. They're
Don't do
adults
this.
that behave
Please
like
don't
kids.
do
I
this.
think.
Don't do
Okay,
this.
but what is your definition of children? Because my definition of children is like probably older.
I
than,
hate everything about this
because
conversation.
I'm 32.
Can we? Oh my God.
Okay, we're gonna not talk about cigarettes. Let's talk about other drugs.
I'm gonna rip a Uber real quick.
Today's stream is sponsored by drugs.
Yeah, drugs are cool.
I'm not here. I'm not here.
Who wants to learn about drugs?
You don't see me.
Who wants to try drugs?
Can we play Levagina past you again? That was much more fun. That was much more
Oh,
fun.
you haven't even heard my thoughts about drunk driving and how it makes me drive better.
I'm not here.
But here's the funny thing. She thinks that the conservative right's going to cancel her for this shit. No, they would be like, oh, actually, she's pretty cool.
I hate all of you so much.
It's the other stuff. The other stuff. They're like, oh, smokes cigs, drives drunk. Maybe she's one of us.
No, they
Maybe
hated Hunter Biden for doing all the same stuff that they do. Like,
Crack.
yeah.
I mean, like, not. I mean, okay.
Hunter Biden, literally, his charges were lying on a gun form, and also tax evasion. Those are two. No, they're not. But those are the two things that conservatives love doing.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody does that.
And also, I think being a bad dad, which is again a third thing for.
Is he a dad?
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
he was like 25.
See, you don't know.
Oh, Biden's
Hunter
really fucking
Biden?
old. Actually, wait, hold on.
Wait, you thought he was 25? That's a hard 25.
Girl, I don't
That's
fucking
what crack
know.
does to
I've
your butt.
never
You know
thought
what?
of him a day in my fucking life.
Anti-crack PSA.
No apologies to this man.
is
I mean,
25.
He's hot. You can say it. It's fine. He's hot.
No, the fuck he ain't.
Oh, come on. Look at like how rugged he looks. He looks kind of like he looks sexy here. I think. This is my opinion.
No.
Oh shit.
I can't believe you thought he was 25.
Trump called Musk a big time drug addict, according to
Whoa,
Washington
shots.
Post.
I'm not here.
Okay.
Don't sue me.
Wait, did Will ever tell you that story of the first time that he did
No. What?
Or on-
Doing which drug?
mushrooms?
Who's doing which drug?
But
Oh,
whose
mushrooms?
house it was? Or whose
Oh,
party
I
was
think.
that?
I
Was
think.
that Elon's?
What?
Wait, that was not the first time he ever did mushrooms.
Yes, it was.
And no, it wasn't.
What?
It wasn't Elon's house. He just showed up to the party with fucking back when he was like cool or
Or no,
considered
was it-
cool. No,
Who are we talking
Yeah,
about?
because
Elon Musk came to a party that we were at. I forget which weekend it was. It was like one of these weekends, like, I don't know. It was
Okay.
it was like Memorial Day weekend or something. And he showed up with like, why are people saying muted? He showed up with like fucking Orlando Bloom or something, or Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, our friend was
Leonardo DiCaprio is the one who's like won't date women over 25?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
wears headphones when he has sex from behind.
But I don't think that was the first time he ever did. I don't think that was the first time he ever did mushrooms.
Allegedly, let me just say. No, it was because he said.
It could be.
Who's first time doing mushrooms?
Caroline can't be heard. What do you mean? Why can't? Oh, because. Wait, speaking to the mic, Caroline.
Hello.
Huh?
What?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, it wasn't
4,
fucking
5, 6,
muted.
7,
Shut
8.
up, everybody. Sorry.
And
Go
the
ahead.
one.
What was your question?
Who?
I
Okay,
actually don't
you're
care.
trying to piece together this story that is being told really badly.
I actually
The
don't
details.
care.
Oh,
I don't.
Well, anyway, Why did we start talking about? Oh, we were talking about
I
drugs.
have no idea.
We're moving away from it. We're moving away from it because you don't want to be associated with.
You don't want to be associated.
You don't want
with
to be
drug
associated
use?
with drugs.
Wow. But it's awesome.
All right, let's go.
Go.
Why are people saying stream crash? Okay, we are going to move on right now to one of the most fun aspects of the my stream, at least, which is when we get on an Uber and I ask the Uber driver questions about their political affiliations and their worldview.
Do they consent to that?
Yes.
What do you mean? Yeah. Why are you saying that with like a hypothetical?
Yes, they do.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I'll ask for
You better. Thank you.
consent if they want to.
This is basic etiquette, children.
Answer questions. But in any case, we don't actually show them. Like, we don't actually show the faces or anything like that. It's just me. But the Uber segment is very fun. All right, so we're gonna do that while we're on our
Did
way.
someone just say I'm so lived up? What is?
It's just the natural
What the fuck
conversation.
does that mean?
Okay.
I'm so lived up.
You are a little
Girl,
lived
go
up.
outside.
Okay.
Lived up. Bitch, I'm done. I'm done.
Damn, this guy's good.